The World Cup has finished and Argentina have oh my god. Just as I get started.
Oh, really? Is he really?
It's just typical, isn't it, of him? Oh. He's been caught in the act. Take two. Take two. Good evening, everyone. Forget it. Let's start again. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world. Are you quite ready, Ant?
Just about.
No, you're lagging. You're not ready. Oh, this is the perfect start. You got that lip sync, voice sync thing. Take two.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Forest Forum, unplanned, unscheduled, and well,
no
you can see what we've got here. I hope you guys are doing well and welcome. The World Cup is over. We are back to talk about the real football now as Forest start these campaign back up again with a trip away to Blackburn and then the scum that is Manchester United. We'll be getting into all of that today. First, though, let's introduce the panel to you guys. We've got some familiar faces and some newbies making their debuts today. Ez, good to see you, mate. How are you?
I'm really good, mate. Good to see you. Good to see everybody on here today.
Good. We got a legend, Dino. How are you, Dino? Good to have you on here.
Thank you for having me on. I'm good, thank you.
Fantastic. We got Mr. Famous Morgan Gibbs White celebrator, Simon, in the bottom right. How are you, Si?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good.
And we've got the very red Forest.
I'm going to come out. I'm going to come out quick again because I'm miles behind on sync.
Yeah, get out, mate. Get out. Just get out.
Get out.
Don't bother with coming back. I'm booting him. Oh,
That's
God.
better colour now. That's better colour, don't you think?
Yeah, the colour's gone. Yeah. I mean, I thought I had my red goggles on for a second. Guys in the chat say hello. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you all. Phil, lovely to see you in the house, as well as Nottingham Now and Then. Take two, indeed. And we know who we're blaming. Fonzie, good to see you. The best final and the best World Cup I've ever seen, no matter what the ficking... Is there a second bit to that sentence? Nope. But we'll talk about that in a second. Jolly Ollie, good to see you. Jimmy, hope you're well. Estro, good to have you on board. Life of Z, Rad's dad as well. Can't wait to get back to the City Ground. All of us are gagging for it. Speaking of Roxanne, let's see. How laggy are you now, Ant?
I don't know.
All good.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to please Ant. Messi equals GOAT. We'll touch on that. And keep your highs coming in as we get into it. All right, there's only one place to start and only one person to start with, and that has to be a Forest Ant. Forest Ant.
Well, first of all, I want to say hi to Dino and Simon. It's great to see you guys.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right, we done with the hugging and everything?
We don't even get a hello anymore, mate. We don't even get a hello.
Oh, I help you too. Yeah. I help, sorry, yeah.
Thanks. We're starting with Ant. Ant, question number one. Is Messi the GOAT?
I don't do goats. It's a ridiculous concept.
You don't do GOATs?
About sheep.
Not what we heard, mate. Not what we heard.
I don't do goats. It's a ridiculous concept. You cannot compare different players from different teams in different eras, different leagues. I mean, you're talking about Messi. You're talking about a guy that's played in Farmers League all his life. Let's see him for 3 years in the Premier League. See how he likes that.
But is he the GOAT or not? Answer the question.
I don't. There's no such thing as goats. Dean Henderson is a far better goalkeeper than Lionel Messi.
Just for background, people, Ant refused to talk about Messi tonight. Yeah. And I bet him that I'd get him talking about him. And you just lost that bet, mate. So, thank you very much.
I'm easy, aren't I? Let's face it.
All right. Let me ask someone who might have an opinion. Si, Messi, GOAT or not? And guys in the chat, I'm just about to put a few names up for the GOAT question. Let me know who you think is the GOAT. But Simon, are you putting Messi in GOAT status?
To be honest with you, mate, I've never been the biggest fan of Messi. Like, for me, it's always been Ronaldo over Messi. But I just think Messi's not tested himself. I just can't respect the fact that he's just sat in that Barcelona team for best part of a decade. The whole team was built around him to succeed. That's what I respect more about Ronaldo. He's pushed himself. He's gone to different leagues, different teams. That's proper success for me. But yeah, I mean, for me, I don't get it with Messi. Obviously, everyone goes on about him. I even heard some England fans on the radio today saying they would have rather Messi won the World Cup than England win the World Cup. I mean, that just shows the sort of weak mentality there is in England. It's ridiculous.
Don't get it.
Just, I don't get it, mate. I wanted France to win purely because I just could not be bothered to put up with pundits and media, everyone going, "Oh, Messi for the next 20 years." I just couldn't be bothered with it. That's the only reason I wanted France to win. I hate France, but I just wanted them to win.
It's my hero.
Purely because of that.
You cheered and up, mate. We're meant to annoy him today.
Hey, what are you doing?
I mean, in this World Cup, what's Messi done? He scored like 5 penalties, isn't it?
I tell you what he did.
No, you can't, because you said you didn't want to talk about it.
All of the penalties were rigged anyway, weren't they?
Let me say one thing, right? Messi was in 10 yards of space. The ball came to, and I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating. The ball came to him. There was a guy 5 yards to his right in 10 yards of space. I swear to God, he passed the ball to him. And the commentator says, "What a fabulous pass by Messi." I said, What?
Mate, tell me about it. He scores that tap in as well, doesn't he? Today.
And Kundi should have cleared it off the line, man. He was like, his position of play was so bad. Well, it's interesting. So you're a no on Messi, yeah? So you're more CR7.
Yeah, but obviously Ronaldo's been a bit of an idiot recently, hasn't he? That's what's put me off Ronaldo recently. But for me, like growing up, it's always been Ronaldo, definitely. Would
you take Ronaldo at Forest?
You just can't, though, can you? Because of his attitude.
Are you serious, mate? How high and mighty do you think you are that we can't have Ronaldo?
Mate, we got enough flack for Lingard. I don't think I could put up with TalkSport going on about Ronaldo coming to Forest. I don't know if I could cope with that. But no, obviously brilliant goal scorer, what we need. But for me, his attitude's been, I don't know, it's been a bit disappointing, really. Such scenes a downfall of, such a great player, in my opinion. But yeah, if you offered him to me, I would take Ronaldo, of course. Oh,
I'm glad you'd take the charity, mate, of Ronaldo.
But are you talking about like in terms of paying his wages as well, or are you talking about just taking Ronaldo?
Mate, we're not accountants here. We're just delusional fans. Yeah. Would you think Ronaldo up front at Forest would stick him away?
Yeah, of course.
Doesn't that just end the debate? And I mean, Ant's probably just lost some respect for you because he's Ronaldo's second biggest
but
fan.
in the real world, you have to pay for him, don't you? You have to pay for him both in terms of money and in terms of the team doing shit.
I said on a previous stream, if you take out the baggage, then of course you'd have Ronaldo in your side.
All right. I want to stick to this Messi debate. Dino or Ez? Are either you Messi GOAT?
Messi GOAT.
Dino.
Yeah.
Why?
And, okay, I'm gonna ask Anne and Simon. Messi or Ronaldo at Forest?
Right now.
Yeah.
I don't really see what Messi does, to be honest.
One's 38 and the other one's 35. It's a bit unfair, really, isn't it? But yeah, okay. I would probably go Messi.
There you go. He's turning.
He's been poor in the Farmers League.
GOAT stands for greatest of all time, not greatest at this moment. Now Messi.
Yeah, but that's not the question you're being asked by Dino. That's not the question you're being asked.
Yeah. Messi is better right at this moment because Ronaldo is pretty much finished. He's 38.
I'd take Ronaldo.
I'd still take Ronaldo. Yeah, but guys, like, what do we need? Do we need another number 10 or do we need a goal scorer?
Exactly.
Do we need a striker?
He's got a point.
He's got a bang on point. That's why I say Ronaldo. Guys in the chat, Ronaldo or Messi at Forest? I can't believe we're having this conversation here. Ronaldo or Messi? Dino, who would you take then?
Messi, every day of the week.
Where are you playing him and who are you dropping?
You've got to play him at 10, haven't you?
Where are you putting Scarpini then, mate? Scarpini is better than Messi.
Scarpini can play anywhere. We've already known.
What about Morgan Gibbs right then? Yeah, it was in.
MG
Dub on the right.
Okay, so who you dropping?
I'd move MG Dub to, I don't know, goalkeeper or something because I love him so much. I can't drop him. He's got to play somewhere else for me.
Life of Z, we are talking about Forest in an inverted way. And we will get on to proper Forest.
That was my point. This is a Forest forum, not bloody crappy old
All right,
Messi.
Santa Claus. Bloody hell.
I've got to take off.
Nottingham down there and say Messi and drop Cole back. Very funny. All right, Ez, well, we got to finish the whole panel here. Is Messi the GOAT?
No, not for me. But I just wanted to talk more about the actual final and the actual tournament rather than individuals, because I think it's one of the best tournaments. It turned out to be one of the best World Cups I've ever seen, and the final was one of the best finals any of us have ever seen. So that is the plus point I want to get out of all this. I'm glad it's all over. I'm so glad it's all over, and we can get back to what we really, really are passionate about and what we're here to talk about. But it was a great end to a very good tournament in the end, and I hope most people enjoyed that aspect of it. And you know, I'm not going to get into a GOAT debate, but for me, the greatest is Maradona. So he's a GOAT for me because I was lucky enough to see him.
Nah, and Matt, I know you're saying about Pele. The reason he's not on there is because you can only put 4 on a thing there, and most of us are probably too young to remember Pele. I don't know, maybe just Ant. And did you see Pele play?
Yeah, my first World Cup I can recall was 1970. And that
I was actually joking. I can't believe you've seen him, Bug.
And that was a magical World Cup, and that's when Pele was possibly at his greatest. But I wouldn't compare him to Ronaldo or Messi or Maradona. Personally, I wouldn't. But see, this is the thing about GOATs. This is what I said earlier on about different eras and things like that. Most people, their GOAT is the person that they grow up with. It's as simple as that.
Very true.
You know?
But that should be the answer, shouldn't it? Because how can I comment on Pele or Maradona when I haven't seen them?
Yeah.
And Matt, no, I'm not dropping Zidane because only 16% of you in the chat are right. It is Zidane who is the greatest of all time, right? And I don't care that Messi finally got his World Cup and ruined part of my argument. But Zidane's still the greatest of all time. It will never be.
And you've missed Giroud as well.
And what?
And Giroud.
Anyway, I think we'll all agree with Owen.
Many of them.
I think we'll all agree with Owen and say Scarpina is going to be the GOAT.
That's my son.
Zay's like, hi, Owen, good to have you on board. It's good to see that you got more sense than your dad because you're spot on.
Obviously been very well brought up, that young man.
Did it take much convincing, Dino, to make him a Forest fan?
Oh, yeah, he did veer a little bit. Sorry, Owen, but he did, yeah. Mum's a Liverpool supporter, so he did sway there for a bit, and then he saw the light.
Ooh.
But one of the first games I took him to was Brighton 0-0 at home, which was dull. Took all my kids. And then another game I took him to, Sheffield Wednesday at home, and we were 4-0 down at half time, and we actually ended up going at half time. It was so bad. It was so bad. So he's not actually seen a good game yet, to be fair, live.
Poor guy, man. Maybe he should have gone Liverpool.
Maybe should have done, yeah.
Cool. All right. That's the World Cup done and dusted. And you're happy we'll talk about your beloved Forest now. Maybe we'll touch onto your beloved Spurs if we get a spare 5 minutes at the end. I know. But...
I will agree with Ez with one thing, though, and that this World Cup, I think, has surprised a lot of people. Not in its quality. The teams are crap, man. I mean, I said today, I think both those teams will struggle in the Premier League. The teams, the quality of play has actually been poor, but the spectacle has been superb.
It has been. You're right, in a way. I've looked at a lot of teams, and that's why you had so many upsets in the group stages. Because overall, none of the teams really look that gelled. Ez, you want to...
No, I just had a quick question for Ant, because he is lucky enough to have seen what most consider the best World Cup of ever, of all time, which is the 1970 World Cup. How would you compare back to this tournament in terms of the actual tournament?
I was very, very young at the time. So I look at it very much with rose-tinted spectacles. And it is like recognised as a great World Cup if you look at the teams that were playing. I remember crying when England got knocked out by West Germany after. But anyway, that's another. So for me, I would say 1970, but I do realise that's rose-coloured spectacles. Do you know what I mean? And it was a long time ago. So what are my memories really like? And obviously that World Cup has been spoken about a lot since then, so you kind of buy into it. The other point I just wanted to touch on very, very quickly. Somebody in the comment, Jigsaw, put like we've been talking rubbish about Messi. The reason that the biggest problem I have with Messi is the hype. I accept he is a fabulous football player, but I just get sick of the hype. Like I say, a 5. And also, one more thing.
Oh, the hype. I thought you said the height. I was like,
yeah. I forgot my other bloody point now you've said that.
Sorry.
Can I stick up for the World Cup? I think it's been brilliant. My Forest Dance 70 was 1978. I love that World Cup with all the ticker tape, Argentina.
Yeah.
A great World Cup, but I think this has been the best ever. And I love the fact that a lot of the teams that were whipping boys before have actually progressed really well. And I think when you look at most of their players, a lot of them play in the top leagues around Europe and around the world. So, seeing the likes of some of the Asian sides and some of the African sides has been fantastic. And I just think it's been brilliant. And like I've seen a couple of messages about Messi. I think he's had a great tournament. For someone in the twilight, potentially of the career, I think he's been marvellous.
I mean, I'm not against Messi being in the debate. I've just got Zidane tinted glasses. I know they're saying in the comments that what are these things on Messi? Look, these are all opinions, and I'm doing it with bias against Messi because one, I've always been Real Madrid for a start because Zidane. Two, I just feel he hasn't gone into the bigger leagues, as was mentioned by Sai earlier. And I think he's always been comfortable wherever he's gone and not tested himself. That's just me, but these are the opinions, and you don't have to agree with us.
I remembered that last point.
Go on.
I really, really don't wish to particularly to offend anyone, but I'd be interested in all these people that are, and this is not aimed at Dino or anybody in particular. I'm just talking in general.
Aimed at Dino.
I've got broad shoulders.
Who've put Messi on a pedestal. I'd actually like to ask you, how many times have you actually seen him play a full 90 minutes?
Ooh.
Seriously,
because
I would suggest the majority of Messi fans have seen a couple of clips off YouTube, a couple of Champions League games. Do they sit and watch La Liga? Do they sit and watch the French League? I'm not sure. 90 minutes?
Fair point.
Not sure.
It's a fair point.
It's in there on like highlights clips, and if you watch highlights clips, anyway, that was all. That was it.
So you're nodding away. You agreeing with Ant saying that?
Yeah, I agree with everything Ant's saying, to be honest. I don't think many people watch La Liga. Well, English people. Well, certainly for me, I'm a typical English fan. I've never watched La Liga in my life. Obviously, you see him in the Champions League, yeah, of course. But as I said to you before, I just feel like the Barcelona team was built for him. The whole system was set up for him to succeed. He's never taken himself out of that comfort zone to test himself in another league, test himself in another team. It's a completely different ball game. If he'd have come to the Premier League a few years ago, I would have had a lot more respect for that. I think that's just my opinion.
You're not saying he's crap. You're not saying he's crap. Oh yeah.
I'm not saying he's crap.
You would have liked to have seen another dimension to him. Yeah.
No, I agree with Ant. The hype is just insane. I said to you earlier, I heard English fans saying they would rather Messi won the World Cup than England to win it. Just because the perfect ending to his career, all this nonsense. That's the only problem I have with it. It's just
what do you say to Trevor then? Say Messi was the best player in the best team ever. Why would he move elsewhere?
No, I agree with. I sort of agree with that, but yeah, I'm not saying.
I just say he had Iniesta around him. He had Xavi around him. And also, there's been a little bit of revisionism on Barcelona the last couple. I don't know if you noticed it, but now people start saying, well, actually, it's a bit boring. Tiki-taki, pass, tiki-taki. Actually, it's a bit boring. I like to see teams that actually attack and go full pelt. So, we're starting to revise our thoughts on Barcelona a little bit. Don't get me wrong. Fantastic team with magnificent football players. But it did get a bit boring after a while. Watching them just roll over Real Zaragoza for the 10th time. It got a bit boring.
All right. Let's move on. Has anyone got anything else they want to say on Messi? The poll, just to confirm, 45% of the chat think Messi is the GOAT, 25% Maradona, 16 are saying Ronaldo, and then only 14% of you are right with Zidane as the GOAT.
Do you think the Ronaldo vote might have been higher 10 years ago?
I think
5 years ago. Yeah.
I'd go 2 years ago. I would go. In fact, last year Messi wasn't cutting it at PSG in that first season, was he? Ronaldo
even for
scored
Argentina,
24
he wasn't cutting
goals.
it.
But the problem
even
is,
for Argentina,
come across like we're slating missing that. We're really not. It's just that we're just trying to bring a bit of reality and balancing.
You don't have to like every player. Do you know what I mean? There's just something about Messi that I don't like. I've always preferred Ronaldo, but Zidane is always still my GOAT. All right, let's move on to Forest. I got an interesting question here. Ez, I'm going to hit you with a tough one, get you thinking, right? It's still linked to the World Cup. You'll love how I do this transition. From the World Cup, what players or a player has caught your eye the most that you would like to see at Forest in the January window? You guys get thinking. Ez is on the spot here. I've really got him thinking.
Yeah, throw it out me. If I could choose one player, and we can definitely get him. Can I go crazy? Can I say Mbappe? Or...
No, come on. Like if you said Ronaldo, I'd be like, okay, but
there was and I can't remember his name, but it was a lad from Morocco, their central midfielder. I think it was their number 8, and I can't remember his name. But
Hakimi. Is it Amrabat or
Hakimi? Is it?
It's the other one. It's not Amrabat.
Is it Hakimi?
No.
Is
it Soufal or something like that?
I'm googling him. Someone in the chat help us. Number 8 for Morocco.
I was looking at the
Soufal, isn't it?
Amrabat.
It's not Amrabat. Amrabat's the shaven head.
He's a Moroccan midfielder, isn't he?
Yeah, skinny midfielder.
Pretty sure it's Soufal.
Yeah, Miley, you know all the players.
What's his name?
There was a good one. Buffal.
Shut up, Anna. I'll come to you in a minute. This is Ez's question
He was
first.
at Southampton, wasn't he?
I was trying to help Ez out.
Guys, it's not Amrabat. I promise you, it's not. Amrabat's the shaven-headed one.
Yeah, definitely.
Ziyech.
That's the one I would have said.
Ziyech.
It's not Ziyech.
Not Ziyech.
Where's my chat, nerds? Thank you, Estro, right there.
Oh,
That's it. I'm glad we got it. Estro, you're a legend. Thank you.
Hey, helping me out. That's the one. Yeah, that's the play.
Well done, Estro. Estro passed the test.
But apparently, there's a lot of teams interested already, and I'm not surprised. He's
in the French league, isn't he?
He plays for Angers. He's bottom of the league, Angers.
Yeah,
or Angers, or however you pronounce it.
Ménager.
Or whatever, because you're the most French-looking speaking person I've ever seen.
He's just been out for a takeaway frog's legs.
No, Argentina took the frog's legs away.
As he would cost us 39 million. He is available, bottom of the league. I agree with you. I've been so impressed with him. Two questions though on that. Well, two questions on it. Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, when he carries the ball, I just think he's somebody we really. It's something that Freuler could potentially do, but I don't think he's as strong with the ball as Unai seems to be. But yeah, I really like the look of him. I don't know if we can squeeze him, to be honest.
39 mil. Would you pay that much for him? That's the asking rate. And on top of that, he's another CM technically. Maybe a more D. He's a kind of quarterback, isn't he? The way he plays for Morocco. Is he worth 39? Or is that World Cup inflation?
But obviously there's inflation on it. There's no doubt about it. Like I said, he's bottom of the league, French league. So nobody was interested in him before the World Cup. But I would, potentially, it's going to be. But I'd have him over who we've been linked with recently.
Koulibaly.
Koulibaly, and how we just don't know. I'm just so sick of these injuries and the way we're not really kept in the loop about it. So we could be out for the rest of the season before we know it. So I think potentially getting somebody else in there isn't a bad shout. There's nobody's really locked down that position.
As your mic's cutting out like a bitch, man.
You're killing me, man. All right, yeah.
I'll come back to you. Do something and I'll come back. Dino, you've had time to think. One player in the World Cup that's impressed you enough that you'd like to see him put on the Forest red. You've had time. Don't give me no excuses.
No.
Here.
Giroud. A couple of seasons with Giroud.
Yes.
Guys in the chat, who would you pick?
Proper
Who's
goal
impressed
scorer.
you the most?
That's what we need
All right,
right
talk
now.
to me about Giroud. Go on, talk to me about Giroud.
He's just an all-round great forward, isn't he? And he's we're kind of written off after Arsenal. Yeah, Dembele was my other one. I think Jolly Ollis has put Dembele, but I'd suggest he's too expensive. But yeah, he's at the end of his career, but I think he could do a job for us for a couple of seasons. Keep us in this league. That's what we need. We need goals, and he can get goals. Good in the air, good on the floor, acrobatic goals. He's just a goal scorer. He's French's top scorer ever, which is pretty good when you've got the likes of Henry that's played for a long time for France. So
how much would you pay for him?
Griezmann, he'd be too expensive, but he's been
brilliant. He's so good. How much would you pay for him, Dino? Giroud?
Hang on, let me get my wallet out. How old is he? Is he 34? 35?
36. 36, I think.
Oh, 2 and 6.
When's his contract up?
2 and 6.
You know,
Ansel, know that.
I don't know, but I'm just painting the picture here for Dino.
I think he's going to.
Call comes in. They say you can have him, but how much would you be willing to pay on a 36-year-old?
Well, I think he's fairly fit, isn't he? So he'll probably go on to sort of another couple of years, like I said. But I don't know. Keep you in the league, 10 million, 15 million, keep you in the league.
Interesting.
What Simon says, it depends on how long his contract's got left.
Well, I'd say, wouldn't it depend more on how long we can have him for? Do you see what I mean?
Both, really, because if he's, because if they've got him for another 2 years, then that's it. He's not going to be much use.
It actually depends on whether you believe in miracles or not, because the guy ain't coming. It's AC Milan who just won the league championship.
Yeah, but AC Milan are probably looking forward, aren't they? He's not their future. Can they cope with him at the top level for another year or two? Is it worth it?
And like most Italian teams, I imagine they're skint. So, yeah.
So, Dino, yours would be Giroud. Okay. Sai, same question.
Well, there's quite a few, isn't there? So, let's look at strikers. Obviously, Gonzalo. Is it Gans? Oh, I can't say his name now.
Gonzalo. You got to get a list.
Ramos.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, he's a young, exciting prospect, isn't he? We were linked to him before the World Cup, and that's now become impossible to sign him. Yeah, he looked impressive. Looked like full of confidence. But yeah, as Dino said, Giroud would definitely be a great signing for Forest. He that seems like sort of one of those free transfers at that sort of age. I don't know if you would pay much money for Giroud, but he wouldn't choose to come to Forest anyway. That's the problem.
But Man U only paid 15 to 20 for Ronaldo when they
exactly. Something that old is
£500,000 a week wages.
Yeah,
it's like Cavani as well. It's the same thing. Yeah,
he's not long term.
Ramos.
He's not long term. He's just a stopgap because we need to stay in this division. We need to solidify in the next couple of years. That's the only reason I would choose him.
Yeah, but what's interesting is if you compare what you're saying and what Simon's saying, you're looking at the stopgap. So you're looking at the long term because Ramos is is he 1921, something like that, age-wise, very young. So you're looking at the future at someone who's kind of getting himself a bit of street cred, isn't he? So are you on the mindset side of thinking more towards the future or short-termism? What do you think is more important?
Well, to be honest, I think he would do a good job in the short term as well. He's been banging them in for Benfica, isn't he? Is that who he plays for?
Yeah.
It's one of the Portuguese sides anyway.
Yeah, it's Benfica.
Yeah, so a class player. But the problem about teams like Benfica is that his value now is going to be extortionate. They'll just go and extort like one of the top Premier League teams for him now. His value will probably go up to like 60 million, and something like Chelsea would be stupid enough to pay that. That's the problem.
And just for context, we could have got him for 29, between 25 and 29 in the summer when he was heavily linked. So that's very interesting.
Did he want to come? Do you know why?
It never got to the stage where there was a fee agreed. So there was no real talk about what his feelings were. I'd be very surprised if he was going to come. But yeah, he's 22, as Matt says here. I just think so. Just to kind of probe on that question, Do you think he'd be a bit like a Nunes, though? Because Nunes has come from the Portuguese league, and he's been a bit of a slow starter. There's been a lot of banter around him, with his move to Liverpool. Can we risk that with the position we are now in the league? Or is Dino's suggestion maybe more so? Look, we're not saying either is coming here, but just hypothetically speaking about the profile we need here, is it better for us to get a Giroud, as Dino is saying, or a Ramos long-term, as you're saying?
It's just, yeah, I mean, it depends if you're accounting for transfer fees, because obviously Giroud would be a lot cheaper. But if you offered it to me now, I would probably take Giroud. Yeah, just to keep us in the league, because that is the most important thing at the moment. So Giroud, and he'll be a great goal scorer. That's what we need. Someone like Giroud, calm, just proper number 9, proper goal scorer. We don't need any of these like wingers converted to number 9s. Just need a proper wing, proper striker to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, and
can I just say also as well, Wolverine, like there's a few players as well. Yeah, is it Guardiola?
Not yet. That's mine.
He's a class.
Move on.
And going back to the Moroccans, Amrabat
for me.
Amrabat for me would be another one as well. But
quality, isn't he?
Yeah, he's quality. I mean, he was in the Premier League before, wasn't he? I think was it? I can't remember. He was playing for Watford before. So yeah.
It's amazing how some of these players kind of shined in the World Cup, haven't they? But will they reflop afterwards?
You have to be careful with the World Cup. There's been quite a few players like over the years who have performed in the World Cup and then flopped.
I like that shout. He's impressed me as well.
Oh yeah.
He really has. He really has. All right, let's get to Ant before he starts crying. I like Jolly Ollie's one, but he's already at Brighton, isn't he? And he shouldn't be playing for Argentina. I'm sorry, but you can't take McAllister in the blue and white striped shirt name that seriously. It just doesn't look right. You need a nice, flashy South American name, and he's got McAllister. And I know you don't want to talk about World Cup, but
you some Diaz. Good old South American name.
Yeah, just slap a Diaz at the end of it and McAllister Diaz.
And go on, man. You're South American.
Well, first of all, I don't think it's ever a good idea to buy players off World Cup performance. My God, how many times have we seen that?
Yeah.
Giroud, I think, is a great shout, and you know, I'm a big fan of his anyway. What's his name? The Portuguese lad. Not for me.
Ramos.
Yeah, not for me.
Why so then?
Not because I know a great deal about him, but because I saw him have a couple of games. One, he scored a fantastic hat-trick. The other, not that great. And also, I'm a bit wary of taking players from the Portuguese league. Don't get me wrong, some fantastic players come out of the Portuguese league, but it is a bit of a lottery. You're never quite sure. Again, bit of a farmers league. Benfica, they pretty much dominate most of their games. We don't. So, if he, like I say, I don't know the guy, so I'm not saying no. I'm just saying not sure. If he scores 1 out of every 5 shots for Benfica, he'll probably get two goals a game. If he scores 1 out of every 5 shots for us, he probably won't score for 3 games. So you have to be a bit careful. My personal choice, although it's not gettable, is Gvardiol.
Oh, he's probably going Chelsea though, isn't he?
Yeah, Chelsea. Yeah.
I mean, he's 20 years old, and I knew about him before, but obviously, being an honest fan, not seeing a lot of. Where's he at the moment? Is he in Italy? Is he at
Germany?
I'm not sure.
Well, if he goes after Forest play Chelsea and beat them, he might change his mind and come to us.
If he sees us play,
yeah. We've got Scarpa now.
Yeah, whichever league he's in, I don't watch a lot of it, but I do know of him. I've seen clips of him, and in the World Cup, he was 20 years old. I mean, he held that Croatian defence together. So yeah, he'd be my one, but like I say, not really.
He's in the German league. Is that where all the good players come from at Leipzig?
D's made a good point there. Ramos scored 14 goals and a
yeah,
handful of assists.
Yeah, I'm not saying no. I'm saying I don't know. Because it's always a bit, like I say, playing for Benfica is like somebody scoring goals for Celtic or Rangers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why I was asking Simon about the whole Nunes thing, because Nunes was banging him in left, right, and centre last season. And he has, the jury's out on him.
I think Nunes is a great player.
I'm impressed,
I think Nunes is a good player, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Forest, we would have got smashed.
Yeah, but Si, the point I'm making on this one, it's not really. I'm not saying. I'm just asking the question. If you look at where we are, you need someone who can hit the ground running here and now. Yeah, we haven't got time for someone to bed in over 2 months or something, because God knows where we're going to be with that in mind. That's why, even though I don't like Giroud as much as it annoys as an ant when I say it, I just think if I had to pick between the two for this season, short-termism for long-termism goals, I think Giroud would make more sense. At the end of the day, we ain't getting neither. But
no, I agree with you. Yeah. Giroud, yeah.
I think that's
but I would personally have Ramos, personally. But in the situation we're in, and I think that's kind of what you were saying, Si, is that we probably need Giroud now, don't we? And I interrupted
it'd be perfect for us.
So, who are you talking to?
I was talking side, but I interrupted you, so pick it back up. And then I want to get over to Ed.
Well, you know, I'm a massive fan of Jude, and he would take no settling in, would he? But, you know, like we say, he's not coming in. And also, talking about players, it's all opinion, you know. Some people will rate a player, other people's well. I've not seen enough of Nunes to impress me at the moment, but maybe he'll come good. The other thing you have to consider as well when you're looking at players, obviously, is the cost. You do have, it's no good saying, well, he's better than him. Well, yeah, but, you know, he's 45 million and he's 9 million. You've got to be realistic, haven't you?
Yeah. Ez, Valencia, he was pretty good, wasn't he? He scored a few goals in the group stages. He was top goal scorer for a while. He's played in the Premier League before. He wasn't amazing. It was at West Ham, wasn't it? Would you take him?
Considering what we've already got, it depends on the price tag and if we can't get anybody else. Because I think a striker is going to be obviously has to be top of our list. But who's going to get? Who's available? Who can we actually attract to our club? And if one that is potentially one we can get in, I think he's not a bad shout really, because he's more of a in the box striker, you know, and he has got a decent shot on him as well.
Yeah,
he can head the ball. I think he's not a bad shout, and he's not really past it. Maybe he's not been at the top level for the last few years, and he really didn't. I don't think he didn't do well anyway, did he?
I mean, his market value is about 3 mil. It's about 3-4 mil.
Problem is, where's he been playing? I think he's been playing in like the Mexican league or some farmers league like that. So, and in the World Cup, who did he play?
No, he's at Fenerbahce. He's at Fenerbahce.
Oh, is he?
Turkish league. Yeah,
I think before he was in the Mexican league. Then
he was a free transfer in 2020. I want to say. I'm just looking at some stats there. Free transfer to Fenerbahce from the Mexican league. You're right. It was at Tigers Urinal or something. Team like that. But 3 mil, he's probably got a bit of World Cup tax now. You're probably looking at 7 mil. Is that still a bit of a risky punt for you, Ez? I mean, how old is he now? He's let's have a look. 33.
He's 32, 33. I don't know. I think we've got to have better options than that available to us, or that we're looking at anyway. But he's not a bad shout, and maybe he can do us a job, which is what we need. And it's kind of touching on what Dean says. We need to do whatever we can to stay in the Premier League this season. Once you can get past that first season, then you can build, and that's what we need to do. And whatever it takes, by hook or by crook. So if somebody like Giroud in Vo is fantastical, you'd go for him because he can keep you in the league. So whatever can keep us in the league. I'm just hoping that we've got a rabbit or two up the sleeve. Because I don't think the finances is going to be an issue. I think Marinakis will back him to the hill. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see another 50-60 million spent in this window if the players are available. But are the players available? And can we, as a team, as a squad, attract them? And I think it all depends on how well we start this restart, basically. I'm not really bothered about the cup game, and we will go on to it in a bit. But how we start this first few games in the Premier League. We
don't need much though, do we? We need a striker and central defence. It's not a lot we need, really. So it's not quantity anymore.
Yeah, and I think
Dino go on, Ez.
No, I was just going to say, I think Dino's touched on exactly that. I think the majority of fans would agree they're the two positions we need. And if he could spend up to 50-60 million getting 2 decent players in, I'm all for it. But that's what we're focusing on.
Problem is for me. Sorry, problem for me is we're in this really tough position where we can't take a risk on a younger, more unknown player because we're trying to stay in the Premier League, but we're not big enough as a club to attract the top proven players. In my opinion, that's why I think we're not. I said this on Friday. I don't think we're going to be able to sign a striker, or at least a top proven striker, just because they're not going to want to come to Forest. Like, unless we pay them, obviously, like, crazy wages. It's hard to justify, why they should come to Forest. Why wouldn't they go to like an Aston Villa, if for a bigger name like that? So I feel like we've done well in terms of the recruitment. We've brought in some really good players for decent value, and they look like good players as well. But I just think in this January, especially it's a January transfer window as well, you're not going to get, people are not going to let go their big striker scoring them goals like halfway through the season, and if they do, it's for extortionate money. So it is. I think it is quite tough at the moment for us.
And you wanted to jump in on something?
I just wanted to make.
Just before you do, Tommy, whose volume are you talking about? Mine? Or do you just need to turn your own volume up? I don't know. Sorry, Ant, go on.
No, I was just going to say one more note of caution regarding judging players at World Cups is that I think generally speaking, I think we'd all agree international football is a hell of a lot slower than the Premier League.
Yeah, definitely. And
also, there aren't many international teams that have defences as good as most Premier League teams. So you have to bear that in mind. It always makes me laugh when they say, "Oh, this guy's not ready to step up to international football," and we're playing Iceland or somebody. You think, oh, San Marino. You think, what? International football is not as good as Premier League football, in my opinion.
No, I fully agree with that.
That's a good point. Dino, I just want to bring you to answer this question that Bobby's raised. I don't know why this is glitching a little. Bobby's saying we need a Van Dijk or a Silva type player. We're getting killed at the back. I think it's quite an interesting thing. It's something we touched on our podcast, episode 3. Guys, if you haven't heard it, it's in the link description below. Don't go now. Go listen to it later. But do you agree with what Bobby's saying there, Dino? Do you think we need a more experienced Premier League player who may be not lightning quick? Or do you think we need a young, strong buck who's got abundance of pace about him? And guys in the chat, let me know your thoughts on this one, because I think this is an interesting debate. But which way would you swing on this one, Dino? I think we're going to take the assumption that you're going to agree we need a defender. We'll start with that, yeah?
100%. I would go for a similar profile to Niakate, to be honest. A bit younger, a bit more pace. We've got experienced heads in the side, haven't we? I mean, we've over time and time again we've butchered Cook, but Cook is a good defender, has been a good defender. I think his agility and his pace is what's really calling him out now. I mean, technically as a defender, he's a good defender. And Worrell's in the same boat, really. It's pace that's done him as well, and on the turn. And when you've got these really fast, almost every Premier League team has got a fast striker or fast wingers, haven't they now, inside forwards? And so I would definitely go for less experience there. I do take his point, but I would go for pace there. I think pace and power. We need a powerful centre-back with some pace to them.
I love your boy's suggestion. What do you think of Konate?
Well, Ibrahim Konate.
Yeah, say which one?
I think he's talking about
Liverpool. He's not coming to Forest, is he?
Yeah.
He's not getting a game at Liverpool. He's
He's starting for them, isn't he?
He ain't coming to Forest. He is the number 3 at most.
Number 3, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I'd say Klopp's favoured 2 under normal performance would be Van Dijk and Mantip, and then followed by Gomez as the 3rd, and then you got Konate.
No, Konate plays above Gomez.
They love Konate up there. They love him. He's been injured a lot. That's been the issue with him.
Yeah.
He's been out of form. He's been injured a lot.
Okay. All right. But Dino, would that be the kind of profile player you're looking at?
Yeah.
Is that that kind of player?
Younger, bit more solid.
He's a monster.
Yeah, that's great. You need somebody to rough up the opposition a bit more.
Would you
Do you
be
not
willing
think we've got
to...
that? Do you not think we've got that in Bolly? He's a big lad, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big lad, but he's not really had many.
McKenna's a big lad.
I like McKenna with pace.
But who is that? Who is that though, Dino? Because
Messi.
I know what you're saying. It's a Niakate version 2, isn't it? But
Yeah,
this is the problem.
Yeah, but we found Niakate from pretty much nowhere, didn't we?
Well, from the Jones. So would you be willing to look outside the Premier League and almost do the opposite of what we've been saying earlier with the striking side of it? When it comes to defending, do you feel like if you can defend in any league well and you're strong and quick, you can do it in the Premier League?
Yeah. The fact is that it's pointless looking in the Premier League because anybody who's any good is going to stay at the club.
Yeah.
Right. And this is what we do. English teams do this a lot, don't they? They look at the Premier League side and the English players. You look at what's available around Europe. You know, when Liverpool picked up Van Dijk, and then look at Man U picking up Maguire, although he did have a good World Cup, to be fair, you know, for similar money. So I definitely look further afield. There's going to be some beasts out there, and that's what we need because we've got one. And I do like McKenna.
It's just a shame that they're both left-footed, isn't it? McKenna and Niakate.
Yeah, it is really.
You can still play them both. I mean,
you can.
Yeah, but
there are plenty of players that play the other side of their defence, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the wrong side. There's plenty of them.
Yeah, I mean,
we're talking about. Sorry, problem is we're talking about all these big names, but our standard is, you know, looking at like a Tanganga or something like that. You know, somebody that's not getting a game at a Premier League club, or, you know, if you're looking at those guys, so Chalobah would have been, you know, my pick before, but I think he's been getting more of a game time at Chelsea now, so I don't think we can get him. But yeah, we just got to look at these you know, these good young players that are sort of sitting on the bench.
We mentioned Levi Colwell.
Yeah, but he's not been getting a game at Brighton. Yeah,
he's
I've not seen much of him.
3 times he's played this season for Brighton.
I think he fits us like a glove. I really do.
Great.
I said it on the podcast after we finally figured out how many games he'd played, but I think he just works really well in the profile that is what kind of Dino said: strong, quick. He can get around. That's what we need. We got, you know, decent heads around him. But Ez, are you more on the older? Because the who was it? Jigsaw just said Otamendi as an example. So I just want to bring it to you, Ez, from the other side of the argument. You got Otamendi, who's way old, but he's had a good World Cup. The odd mistake here and there. You've got Felipe from Atletico, who's going to be available in January, guaranteed. He's 33, not fast, but a really good defender. Which way are you sitting on this? Do you want young or do you want old? Or get 2?
Yeah, so just to give a shout out to the podcast, we did discuss this on the podcast, didn't we, about if Levi Colwell's available, because if he's only played 3 games for them, surely there's a possibility Chelsea will cut. Who's he at? Is Chelsea's his parent club, isn't it?
Yeah.
They'll cut his,
is that Brighton?
Yeah, and there's a good chance they can cut his loan deal short. We saw it happen with when we got what's his name during. Under Houghton, we got the player on loan. It does happen. Basically, it does happen, and there's a chance that if Cooper goes in and says, "Look, I can give him game time," because he's. Can I
mention Loic Bardet to you, Ez?
Well, exactly. But Loic Bardet isn't somebody that he wanted. But clearly, you know, we've had this discussion as well, whether he brought him in. Clearly, it wasn't one of Cooper's decisions. But I think Cooper likes Colwell. I think he likes him a lot. And if he Chelsea and say, look, I can guarantee he'll get more game time than he's getting at Brighton, then I would definitely take him on board, because I think he's one for meets the criteria that we're looking for. He's got the pace, definitely got the pace, and I was always impressed with him last season at Huddersfield. So I think he's one that I would try and push for, to be honest, and I would rather go down that route for the centre half position. I understand the experience you get with Otamendi and Felipe, but the main issue and it has been the pace, and they don't solve that problem. Yes, they've got more experience, but they don't solve the problem of pace, and I don't think that helps us right now.
So you want to jump in there just before you do, guys? There's some really good questions coming in the chat, but I just don't want to break the flow of this conversation. Brandon's asking, for example, about Lingard, and so on. So I've put the Q&A in the chat. If you click on that tab, get your questions into the panel. If you want a specific panel member to answer it, just tag their name in, and we'll do it towards the end of the show as well. But I'm reading your comments as we go along. Sorry, Si, you wanted to come in on.
I just want to say quickly about Colwell. If we sign Colwell, we'll complete the whole of the Huddersfield Heroes of the playoff final, won't we? and then add in John Moss as well. Give him a role in the management staff or something.
Well, I would take issue with you on that, because I'd say he was our hero. Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah,
his finishing is top notch, isn't it? Yeah, it's like perfect.
That's what I mean.
And then bring in the ref and we're done, mate.
Because we got O'Brien and Tuflo with those penalty shouts, and then get Colwell with the own goal.
Yeah, and then get the ref to ref all our games in the Premier League, and we'll win the league, innit?
Yeah.
Cool. And you brought in the point about Abade. Have we not got what we need? Is my question to you currently, and it's just being ignored.
Yeah, well, he's going though, isn't he? So it's irrelevant, really. I mean, the point I was making to Ed is teams recalling players from a loan because they're not playing. That was the point I was making. Because I'd like to see more of Bardet, but we'll never know, will we?
How are you, but Dino, on Bardet? What are your thoughts? I'd be interested in your thoughts on this.
We don't know, do we? We don't know, because he brought him into the side against Valencia, and all of a sudden he's playing defensive midfield,
and then left winger for a bit as well, apparently.
But he's quick. He's obviously quick.
Yeah.
But what's he like at centre back? I don't know, because I've not seen him before. I was hoping that he'd play him in the position that he supposedly bought him in to do, or somebody did at the club. I mentioned it on Friday. I think he's not one of Cooper's signings. I think Cooper has a list, and I think Dane might have a list, and I think Marinakis might have a list, and then the recruitment guys, chuck their list in, and then the recruitment guys get the sack, which I think was a bit unfortunate. But I agree with Simon. I've agreed with Simon. 23 players because we had to, not because we were splashing money. For the money he's spent, he's done really well. But I don't know. It's
as you want to jump in.
I'd love to see him play there. Just Blackburn, play him at Blackburn.
We can't, can we? We can't.
Can't we? Bardet.
No,
if we do, he can't terminate the loan. Yeah,
because friends have said they want to loan him out again, and if he plays for us, he'll already play for two clubs in the conference. So
he's definitely going then, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I don't see the point in bringing him on.
Yeah,
against Valencia, really. But I don't see the point in a lot. I do love Cooper for what he's done for us last season in the 23-year exile, but I'm baffled at what he does with his team selection. And it seems so obvious to me half the time. It's just false nine. Who do we think we are?
I think with the Bardet one, I think he's been forced into that one. I think there must be something in the contract. Maybe Rennes will be paying part of his wages if we play him in the friendlies, if we showcase him in the friendlies. There'll be some agreement like that. People won't just bring him off for no reason.
What is the benefit to us of doing that? Because apparently this
we might want to upload him anyway.
But it was agreed in October that he's going back. Yeah, that he's going back. Don't play him. Basically, in essence, they're going to cover the wages. He's just going to be there as a warm body in training,
Because I think
why are we playing him in the friendlies if that's the case, though?
Well, I mean, with the deal, I think he's probably come into the building, to sign on loan for Forest, and then Cooper's looked at him, don't want him, and then they've come to some sort of compromise with Rennes to say, okay, we're not going to play him, but then can you cover some of the wages? And then they probably said, yeah, if you showcase him in the friendlies. It doesn't make much sense, but that's the only way I can wrap my head around this crazy situation.
Yeah, as you gonna say?
No, I was going to say it must just be a goodwill thing that we're doing from just to keep, keep them in good terms with us. You don't burn your bridges, do you? We could possibly get players from them in future, or vice versa, send players to them. But no, I just wanted to pick up on the because I missed my point. It was when we got Garner in on his first loan spell. That was his loan spell cut short at Watford to enable him to come to us. So it does happen, and like I said, if Cooper really likes Colwill, and I don't think he wouldn't suit. I think he'd suit us basically. I think there's a good chance that if he went in with the right offer, that Chelsea would be happy to cut his loan deal at Brighton, because it is a season-long loan deal with Brighton, but they'd be happy to cut it short and have the possibility. And honestly, I think it'd be really good for us. I think it'd suit the way we play, and Cooper gets the best out of young players more than any other, most coaches in this league, and I think he could easily attract a young player to Nottingham Forest. So, but yeah, just to remind, because I forgot the player's name, but it was Garner. When we cut Garner's loan short and brought him in on his first loan spell, and Houghton managed to do that. So if Houghton can drag a player in, I can see how we know how Cooper.
I think it's a good point. The point you make about, and I've always said this, I think Premier League managers are more than happy to send their young players to Forest because they've seen Cooper's track record from the England team through the Forest team. His track record with improving young players. There I mentioned Jed Spence. So I think that Premier League teams will always be willing to lend us young players.
But for that to happen, a couple of things need to happen. Bidet going, to me, makes logical sense in terms of the picture they're trying to paint. Because for us to get another loanee in, we're going to have to get rid of some loanees. So potentially you need Bidet to go. And maybe kind of the next question I want to ask you guys, would it be too early to consider changing Henderson from a loan to a perm to potentially free up another loan option?
I mean, for us, obviously, we obviously that would be ideal, but Man United would. I don't think they wouldn't sell him at the moment. Would they? No, sorry, not Man United. Henderson wouldn't want to sign for Forest right now because he wants that guaranteed Premier League future. And it makes no sense for him to sign now.
Yeah,
he's in a good position at the moment on loan. Wait till the end of the season. If we stay in the Premier League, then I reckon we'll sign him. Yeah.
But what if they put a relegation clause in? Sorry, what if there's a relegation clause?
It makes no sense for him to sign for us.
Yeah. I agree with Simon on that. I think Man U are more than willing to sell him. I think we're probably more than willing to buy him, but I think he's spot on. I think Henderson might think, well, like I say, what's the point? He may as well collect his wages until the end of the season and make a decision then. It makes sense.
Unless you give him a big pay rise, but...
Yeah, but then we'd have to cover that in the Championship.
There's no rush on anyone.
There's no rush because we've got, he's here at the minute.
The only rush, Dino, would be if we were desperate to have 2 loan players from the Premier League. That would
that's my point. It frees up a loan spot, slot.
Yeah, that's my point, because we've tested Henderson out now. I think most of us would agree, we can have the distribution debate till we're blue in the face. But most of us would agree between the sticks in terms of the basics of what a keeper needs to do. He hasn't made any clangers, has he, in terms of saves and that. So I feel like he would be a safe pair of hands to have between the sticks. And if we did want to free up a loan space to maybe test another player out, it makes a little sense. But you're right in what you're saying, Simon. Like, Henderson would be the stumbling block on it, I think, wouldn't he? On that one. Yeah. Okay. Anyone want to weigh in on the Henderson debate before we move on to talk about Blackburn?
Only to say that he's a young player and that's ideal for us. So I think he'd be ideal. Yeah. And a quick shout out to Hennessy, who I think is the best number 2 in the league. But go on.
You do love your Hennessy. All right, I want to move on to talk about what we want to see going forward, because World Cup done. We're back with Forest. Before we go back into Forest, we got nearly 100 people in here and 32 likes. Guys, if you wouldn't mind taking a quick second to hit that like button, it would be much appreciated. So Blackburn on Wednesday. Simon, I think you're unfortunate enough to be going to that city, not to the game, but you're on your way up there?
Yeah. I managed to tie it in with like a work trip, so they're paying for all my expenses. Just hope they don't watch this channel.
Good man.
So I did that when we played Spurs in the Cup all those years ago. Yeah. I planned some London meetings there. But I'll start with you then, Si, on this one. What do you want to see team-wise? And what I mean by that, I don't need you to go through the 11. But the question here is, are you expecting... Oh, my God. Are you expecting the team, or should I say, do you want the team that we would see against Manchester United? Or do you want almost a second-string team in the Blackburn match? Because I guess the initial question would be, do you care about the cup?
Yeah, I think I'd care about the cup, definitely. I would love a cup run. Well, what stage are we at? If we beat Blackburn, are we into the quarters or round of 16?
Aren't we? Yeah,
16. Is it quarter? I can't remember. It's Mickey Mouse Cup, mate.
I would love a cup run, to be honest. But like the beauty about our transfer window is that we brought 23 players in, and the beauty about that is you can rotate it. Give the guys that not really been playing much a game. So I think the team we put out against Tottenham, just go with that same lineup. Don't know if you guys have got any other thoughts apart from that. Yeah,
so you'd go with two back up front. Lineup. So you'd go with Surridge and Owoni back up front.
Yeah.
Trying to think who else was in there. It was Mangala, obviously. Was Kiyose playing?
Yeah. No, I don't think he was.
Who was it? Was it O'Brien with him and Yates or something?
O'Brien and Mangala
and a Lingard. Yeah.
And then you want to see that Bolly-Worrell partnership
at
the back.
Yeah, I love that Worrell Bolly. Well, it's my preference would be McKenna and Bolly, in the Premier League games. But I do want to see, but I do want to see more Bollies. But if that means Worrell and Bolly, just stick to that same winning lineup. They did really well against Spurs. Why change it? And I do think that Blackburn's going to be a tough fixture. They've just beaten Norwich somehow. 2-0 away. So they're not, it's not going to be easy. I don't know where they are. They're in the top 6 anyway. Are they back
third in the league?
So third in the Championship. They've been playing regular competitive football, which we haven't been. We've been messing around in friendlies, all over Europe at the moment. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one, isn't it? And we've not got the greatest away record this year. So I do think Blackburn are probably favourites. But then have you seen that funny thing where we've sold more tickets, more away tickets than Blackburn's home tickets? I mean, they'll probably sell a few more towards the game, but yeah, I want the win. But I'm going all the way up there. I want to see the win. So yeah, let's just in terms of that Spurs team. I mean, what changes would you make from that team that beat Spurs in the cup?
Well, let me ask Dino. On it. Firstly, Dino, do you care about the cup?
Yeah. We had a great FA Cup run last year. I think it's good for morale, especially when you're down near the bottom of the table. Helps breed the winning mentality. I think that, there's a lot to be said for that. None of this, forget the cup, let's focus on the league. I think I 100% agree with Simon. The squad's big enough now to field a reasonable side. So, yeah, I'd like to go attacking. I wouldn't want to play false nine or, you got to go for it just for the benefit that you could stick away a few goals and it do great things for morale. I'd get definitely people like Dennis who hasn't got the minutes that I would have liked to see him. I'd like to see him full game in.
But would your team reflect the team you want to see against Man U the following week?
No.
Or would you want almost a second string, if there's such a thing, with the team now for the Blackburn one?
Yeah, second string, but you've got players with engines like crazy, like O'Brien, who's just got the best engine and could probably play 5 times a week if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Yates is similar. He could probably play 3 times a week, 90 minutes a game. These guys just don't get tired. So, yeah, I would have a secondish string with 2 or 3, 4 regulars.
The only thing I'd say to that, Dino, just because I want to press you, as always, I like to squeeze people on here, yeah? What would we go into the Man U game with? Like, what would you do for the Man U game then? Because we've jumped from friendlies where players are playing in some dumbass positions. We got strikers playing right wingers. We got fullbacks playing as CDMs and stuff. Can we jump into the Man U game by playing a second string team for Blackburn and then just magically appear at Old Trafford and expect a performance, if you see what I'm saying? Like,
Man United
squeeze you here.
About Man United playing this week?
Yeah, they got Burnley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, then they might do a similar thing. They might play a bit of a second string with some. So yeah, I think we can jump into it, but I think we've got to play the best side against Man United because I think we've got a chance against them, and I think we got a chance against Chelsea. So
yeah, but my point is, are the team gelled and ready off the back of these friendlies to almost ignore Blackburn as a gelling period to jump straight into the Man U match?
You know what, mate? It's a moot point because if you're going to play the friendlies to gel the team, then they should have played the players that he was going to play against Man United and Chelsea as starters, rather than bringing on, like I said before, Bardet playing, who's not even going to be here. You know, if you're going to gel the team in the friendlies.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Is?
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. But I would say, whatever back five he's going to have for Man U is what I'd play in the Blackburn Cup game. At least keep the back five. And I'd keep the rest of the formation the way he's going to play, because it's 2 away games, technically. So I would play the formation and the back five at least the same for both games, because it's a Wednesday. The cup game's on a Wednesday, and then it's the following Monday when we play Man U.
Tuesday, Tuesday.
Yeah,
Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday? It's on the
yeah,
first.
It's not Boxing Day.
On Boxing Day.
No, it's day after Boxing Day.
No, it's the 27th.
Oh, it's the 27th. Okay, so so it's Tuesday. So it's a long enough break. You know, there's no reason why he couldn't actually play the same team. But I definitely want to see some consistency, because we haven't seen it, like Dino's alluded to. We haven't seen it in these friendlies. We've seen, again, a lot of mishmash and one formation's right, but the players are in the wrong position. Something or other hasn't been quite right with whatever he's done over these friendlies. I don't think we've really, as fans, we've not been really satisfied by what we've seen. I think hopefully he's had a plan in the back of his mind, and he's kind of like happy with what he's seen. But I would do that. Yeah, going back to that point, I would start with the same back four at least, and the same formation in both games that you're going to go forward with. You need.
He's still tinkering with the formation though. He's not tinkering with the position, the players in the positions. We're still tinkering with the formation. You know,
does that worry you?
Me, yeah. When's he going to? I'm sorry, I know it's my sound aggressive.
Go on, Cowell. Do your Cowell bit.
No, that's what you're here for. We want to hear views. We don't want to hear.
When will he realise that our best formations are around 2, and it's the 4-2-3-1 or the 4-3-3 with a striker? I mean, if he comes round to it eventually, then we'll all be saying, well, why did he do this months and months and months ago? Like I say, I'm not knocking Cooper. I'm a fan of Cooper. You know, I have my frustrations like anybody when we get slaughtered and I'm Cooper out for a few hours. But then when I've slept on it, you know, he's done a lot for us. But we have to stay in this league, and he has to get a fixed formation or 2 home and away as soon as possible. And then we can start messing with players.
And thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm lagging again, aren't I?
Oh, bloody hell.
I've got on record as saying that I believe that we should play the formation and the players within reason.
And sorry, get out and come in.
My bad. All right, I'll come out
and come in. While he's doing that, Nottingham now and then, you are too generous. Merry Crimbo to you as well, buddy. Thank you so much for the £10. I hope you're I hope you've broken from work, because I have. There's gonna be a lot of content this week. I got the rest of the week off. Too. So I'm very excited. Thank you so much, as always, for supporting Nottingham now and then. And guys, don't forget, get your questions in on the Q&A for the panel as well. Trevor's saying, if I just read a few comments while we wait for Ant to come back. Trevor's saying, go full strength against Blackburn in preparation for Man United. I fully agree with that.
Well, on that, what about the keeper? Would you play Henderson?
Hennessy. I'd play Hennessy. I would have played Hennessy against Valencia.
Yeah.
I just would have liked Hennessy to have Valencia, Blackburn, and go into Man U. Henderson can come in and out of the team after a 2-game break with no problems. He's going to carry on being himself. Hennessy, I feel, after the red card in the World Cup, it would have been good for him just to get a friendly knocked out of the way. That becomes a distant memory, etc. But I agree with Trevor. I don't think we've used the friendlies good enough that we can just put a second-string team out for Blackburn and then expect a gelled first team to come out against Manchester United. You shaking your head, Si?
No, I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, agree with you.
Yeah. So I agree exactly with what Trevor's saying. Father Forest said Merry Christmas now and then. And Tommy's saying no need to rotate the squad in a Blackburn Cup match because it's the first game back. And that's another great point as well. They're coming off a 5-week break. I'm sorry, if you can't play 2 games in what will be 6 days or whatever it is, then I could play 2 games, 50 grand a week and a day. You know, I wouldn't be very good, but I'd be quite happy to take it on. As always, Andrew, thank you for supporting the channel. You're so super kind with your super sticker of $1.99. Really do appreciate, buddy. Esther is saying, yes, Hennessy to prepare against Man United. Do we all think Hennessy will be in the Blackburn game? Is anyone who thinks he'll start Hendo?
No, I don't think so. I think it would have been strange. I mean, I know you said, Wolverine, that you would have preferred Hennessy to play Valencia game, but I think it was just a matter of giving Hendo a game. Because what would you have done? Would you played Hennessy, then Hendo against Blackburn, and then back to Hennessy, or would you kept Hennessy in for all 3 games if that was the case?
I would have been quite happy for against Valencia a half each, yeah, and then in Blackburn I'd have put Hennessy for the full match. You know, if he was that desperate to give Henderson some game time, a half each, I don't see the problem with that against Valencia. Hennessy for me has to start the Blackburn game just to give him some, you know, competitive football between the sticks, because I don't want him going in cold against Manchester United. And then Henderson comes straight back in. Now imagine Hennessy has a cracking game against Blackburn and Man U keeps 2 clean sheets. Then we'll be sitting here having a debate saying, is he a number 2 or a number 1? You know, ideally that would be what happens. Is it? Don't know. We can dream.
But that's what we want, though, don't we? Because we don't want Henderson even thinking that, you know, his place. We don't want any player thinking that their place is nailed on and that there's no competition, because that brought the best out of Samba last season. It brought the best out of Horvath as well, because Samba came back and he had the best spell of his Forest career, and it ultimately got us over the line, didn't it? And he took his punishment and he came back. But Horvath in that break did everything. He did nothing wrong. I couldn't really fault him at all. And
it was brilliant, wasn't he?
He was brilliant. He came in cold and he absolutely performed heroics and got some vital points in that spell as well. And so, yeah, it can work. They've got to have a competition. So the ideal scenario is that Hennessy comes in these next 2 games, has an absolute stormer, keeps a couple of clean sheets, because that will guarantee us a point against Man U, won't it? We get a clean sheet against them. And then Henderson's got some competition. That's the best way forward for every single player in our squad, surely.
Okay, so that's the Blackburn game, and then we go into the Man U game. Chelsea and Southampton, I think, are our next 3 games. So away, home, away. We got 1 home match. Dino, what are you expecting from the next 3 games? And guys in the chat, give me a points tally out of 9 for Man U, Chelsea, and Southampton. I'll be interested to see what different numbers we get here. But Dino, I'll put you on the spot first. Talk me through with your Mystic Magnus how you see the next 3 Premier League games going.
I think we can beat Chelsea personally. I really do.
Okay.
I'd like to get 6 out of the 9. That's a good return. So I think
where are you seeing the 6 from?
Southampton, and then either one of the others. But Chelsea, I don't think they're so hot at the minute.
No.
But can we beat a Chelsea?
Of course we can.
Harry Potter has had a bit of time with them, you know?
Yeah.
Of course we can. Of course we can. Saudi Arabia beat Argentina in the first match, didn't they?
That's true. That's true. That's a good way of looking at it. So what are you thinking?
Mine always says to me, the ball is round, which is her saying that it's just the same for everybody. I mean, look at France today, first half. They were obliterated.
Yeah.
And they nearly won it right at the end, didn't they?
What a save that was.
Oh, what was
wasn't
a
it?
save.
What a save.
Tell you what, Argentina needs to send a lot of thank you gifts to Neil Mope. I don't know if you remember that. Do you know what I'm talking about or not?
Brighton Mope.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, Mope. Do you guys not know about it?
Go on.
Because in lockdown, when they came back from lockdown, they were playing behind closed door Premier League games. Mope did some dangerous challenge on Bert Leno, and then Leno got injured from Arsenal. Martinez was the second keeper. He then came in as the reserve keeper, did really well, and then obviously, Argentina then picked him, and Aston Villa then picked him. So if it wasn't for Maupay injuring Leno, Martinez would still be just rotting away.
Wow, who figured that strenuous link?
Yeah.
Nah.
I've always thought that because obviously Martinez is he's always been a number 2, hasn't he, for 10 years?
Yeah. Well, I want to thank Maupay as well for not coming to Forest. He's crap. So what are you saying inside them for these 3 games?
It's just really hard at the moment to back Forest with an away game. I've been to a lot of these away games this season. It's been dreadful, absolutely dreadful. We've scored 1 goal in the Premier League away from home. Yeah, me and
the Everton one.
Just the Everton goal. Yeah, just the Everton game.
We haven't scored another away goal. Nah, that can't be.
Well, we have
right.
at Grimsby. At Grimsby, we have, but I'm talking about Premier League.
Not in the league.
Well, I was at
Not in the league.
away. I think you were too, Wolverine. But your Man City away, I was there as well. Oh my God, that was bad.
Do you know what it is? I keep thinking the score was actually 5-2 in my mind. That was a horrific game. That Man City game was quite.
No, Leicester was the worst one. Leicester was the worst.
Yeah, I guess
Did you go to
that
the
was
Leicester one?
shocking.
Yeah, but we've
I was at
returned-
the Leicester game.
Since Leicester, that was a bottom of the barrel for us. I think we've took a bit of an upturn.
I mean, we just kept singing. We kept singing for Cooper, even though we were losing 4-0. I think that's what I do think that contributed to Cooper's keeping in his job. To be honest, the fact that Forest fans just never kept singing his name. I mean, Leicester fans couldn't believe it. We're 4-0 down, we're still out singing the Leicester fans. That was the only good thing about that day, obviously. But the rest of it was just terrible, really. So it's hard to back Forest at the moment away. Southampton, obviously, that's a massive game, isn't it? That's a huge game down the bottom of the table. I reckon we can get a draw at Southampton and we'll beat Chelsea, and we will not beat Man United. So 4 points for me.
4 points. Interesting. Ant, are you back in non-lag mode? Yeah, you are. You are.
Yeah,
just
you are.
about.
Just
Give us your.
Yeah, before I went off, I was just about to say about the Blackburn game. Personally, I would play pretty much the formation and the side we intend to play against Man U, because we need to get ourselves sorted. And like I say, they've had a lot of time off. They're not going to be tired. It's not unusual to play two games in a few days, So I would go pretty much full strength and play the formation we're going to play, because I think we need to, that word again, we need to gel that. Yeah. Manchester United, I think they're going to have quite a few players that won't be playing because of the World Cup. I mean,
definitely Varane, definitely Martinez. Varane went off.
That's their defense
up today.
And
I think that was just exhaustion.
Yeah. And I think that I am delusional, there's no doubt about it, but I honestly think we have the squad, we have the players that can get a result there. But as Simon rightly points out, we've not
seen all the crap we've seen this year away.
We've not been sparkling away from home.
And we're all delusional, we're all Forest fans.
At the end of the day, it's not winning away at Manchester United that's going to define our season. I know it's a cliche, but it's true.
Can Scarpa play against Chelsea?
Yes. Ish.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on a minute. Can I just mention something? Did you see Cooper's Valencia after show post interview?
Made no sense.
What program's he talking about?
Yeah, made no sense.
He's fit as a fiddle. He was running around like the clappers.
It's come off a full season in the Brazilian league, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's going to get tired towards the end of this season, no doubt. But get out of that bottom, let's get mid-table.
Yeah.
Although is that right, Dino?
Sorry,
just on that one though, because he's come off a full season. I feel like Cooper's prepping the fans to say to us, "Don't expect him to start every game, boys."
Yeah,
that's what it felt like to me when I heard that one.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ant. Go on.
No, I was just going to say the one encouraging sight I did see was in the training video where Coops was chatting to Gustavo and they were getting on, and Cooper put his arm around him, walked off with him, his arm around him, which I think that's slightly different attitude than he had towards Bardet, for example. He genuinely seemed to like the guy.
But doesn't mean he's going to play him, man.
No, he's looking for advice on a skateboard for his son or something.
Possibly.
Anyway, we're going to club together and buy you a skateboard, Anne. I've heard that.
Oh my God. You know what? Even when I was a kid, I couldn't stand on a skateboard. So God knows what I'd be like now. You know, broken hips at my age are not good.
So who ran into Scarpina in Nottingham?
That was my brother's lad.
Oh, see your brother.
Yeah, and I mean, the guy had played in Valencia the night before. You've got to love him, haven't you? He played in Valencia the night before, and the following morning, he's in freezing cold Nottingham City Centre chatting to fans on his photo tape.
I love him.
Legend.
You've got to love him, haven't you?
Yeah, you got to love him.
Every reply, every response I've had from that tweet has been, I love him already. He's already, you know.
You know what? It took us an hour and 20 minutes to get onto Scarpa. I don't know how Wolverines managed to
How to manage, yeah.
Well, I get to say my say on the video.
Did Wolverine not tell you this is a 5-hour stream and the rest of it's
you know, Friday, you were on our Ezra's stream and Joe's stream, weren't you? And then you went off to do your grumpy old men till what time in the morning? 2?
Mate, we were messaging Ez saying, you've still got 16 fucking players left to go through. Yeah, it's 10:30. Yeah, we've got a podcast to shoot after this.
Oh, God.
It took us 20 minutes to get through Colback.
Yeah, I know. I did notice that it started off with about 5 or 10 minutes on each player. Then towards the end, next time I look around, they're all gone. We were recording till after 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, they got to go off to sleep. I was the poor, sad fucker that had to sit there editing it afterwards. So I got to bed at 4. But yeah, for those of you who have listened to the podcast, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't, the link for it is down below in the description. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple, it's on Google, it's on all the other platforms as well. So please do go and like and have a listen to it. They're going to be really regular. We're building up a nice library for you guys, and then loads more coming up. Not just on that, there's plenty more we're building at the moment on this network almost we're looking to build. So keep your eyes peeled, and please do hit the like button. We've got over 100 people in here. We've got 52 likes. Let's see if everyone hit the like right now, would be over 100 likes. So please don't forget to hit that. And I'm not letting you off the hook. You still haven't told me how many points from the next 3. So you were talking about Man U and you're saying they were shit, which I agree with. Yeah. But you didn't say if we're going to beat them or draw or what.
I'm okay. I mean, predictions are stupid, aren't they? Because we're never right. But,
especially yours, mate.
Same with goats.
Got point there.
Hold up. Andrew again. Time out with the £2. Andrew, thank you so much, buddy. I'm dreaming of a red Christmas. I hope you mean Forest Red and not Manchester Red, Andrew. Thank you so much for the £2, buddy. I really do appreciate it. And 3-1 or 0, Man U?
I'll go for 1. I'm sitting on the fence a bit. I'll go for 1.
If there's anyone in the chat who would like to become the newest member of our podcast who doesn't sit on a fence.
It's Simon's fault for reminding me how shit we are away from home. I was confident before then.
All right, but let me throw a counter argument to you on that. Okay, Man U always come back starting slow. Look what they did at the start of the season. Yeah, they got tonked by Brentford, who we should have beaten. Yeah, they lost to Brighton at home in their opening game of the season, who we drew with away from home. Yeah, eventually they started to pick up form once they'd paid off the refs enough money, and the lines got bent and VAR got changed for them, as it always does for Man U. But they do traditionally come back. The only time I ever remember them in 20 odd years of football of coming back strong is in the COVID break, where they had no crowd and they suddenly could perform because they were a bunch of pussies. But anyway, so Man U traditionally always come back slow. So we should be able to hit them if we go attacking. But will we go attacking against them? Is Cooper going to take the handbrake off?
That was going to be my point. There's always that caveat of it depends on what team and what formation Cooper plays. If he plays what I consider to be the right plays in the right formation, I think we're capable of winning, especially, as I say, no Varane, no Martinez, no Anthony. Who else? There must be others in there as well. You know, they're going to be short. So, yeah, we have got to... But it does depend on the formation and the personnel. You know, I don't think we should go there defensive, but we will, won't we? That's the problem. We will.
So if we do we lose?
The crowd will be too much for these Forest players. We can't perform when we're not in front of the City Ground crowd. We struggle, don't we? We get intimidated by any sort of away crowd.
But that's
the
strange,
players just freeze up
because our away support is magnificent. You think that's, you know, I mean, I was watching, I can't remember which match the other day I was watching, and I thought, you can only hear the Forest fans, and it was a away game. You know? So,
but even at the Man City, but Si's point is right. Si's point is right, because at the Man City game, when I went there, because Dina, you were in the homestand as well, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah.
It was so
all I could hear was the Forest fans.
Yeah.
But it's the size of the stadium, the enclosed big stadiums, like when we went to the Emirates and stuff, they looked like rabbit in headlights. Do you know what I mean? It was just punt the ball forward. As soon as I get, not even looking up at some points, punt the ball forward.
But
and Old Trafford's even bigger.
That's got to be the formation or something, though, because I'm just mentally going through the team, and we've got quite a few experienced players in there. Players that shouldn't be scared of big crowds. Players that have played in front of big crowds. You know, even I know Scarpa can't play, but even Scarpa, he plays in the Brazilian league, and he plays for a team that won the league, Palmeiras, who had a crowd. You know, and then you've got well, I won't go through the whole side, but you know what I'm saying. Plenty of those players have got experience of playing in front of big crowds, so there's no reason that they should be afraid. If you're not playing the right formation, it doesn't matter how brave you are. If you're told to stay there and not go up the pitch, Freuler, for example, Freuler has played in front of big crowds all his life. But if he's told to stay 20 yards from the goal, then you're not going to see the best of him, and it might appear that he's frightened or nervous or whatever. It's not. It's just playing to instructions.
But is it instructions or formations? That's an important word you just chucked in there late. Is it instructions or formations that's the issue?
Well, it's definitely instructions. Well, I say definitely. In my opinion, they appear to be playing. I don't think Freuler's natural game is to play as deep as he does for us. So that's got to be instructions.
Who's your middle? Who's your midfield? And who's your front 3, 4, whatever you want?
I mean, it depends. I mean,
against United.
Well, Mangala, number 1, and Freuler.
Just 2.
Again, it depends on the formation. If you're playing 2, if you're playing 3, I don't mind whether it's still those 2. I don't mind whether it's O'Brien or Yates.
The thing is, I've got Cooper on the phone now. He's asking me what I should do. And he said, "Can you ask Ant?"
And I would definitely play with a 1-year up front. I would definitely have a striker play.
Yeah, I would.
I would. Personally, I'd play Dennis on the left. If we had Scarpa, I'd play Scarpa on the right, but we can't play Scarpa against Man U, so I'd. I'm quite well known of ending up with 12 players playing. That's the only problem.
Would you sacrifice Gibbs White at number 10 for an extra midfielder, like a Yates or a O'Brien?
No.
Somebody who's a batter.
I personally wouldn't, but I just go for it. That's the way I am. Do you know what I mean? Whether that's the right thing to do or not, I don't know. But I would rather attack Manchester, especially as they're going to have Maguire and Lindelof in the back as the centre backs. I would definitely attack them.
We need pace against them, don't we?
But Cooper won't do that.
Might be a good game for Jono. That one.
Your camera's lagging again. So give me out of 9 points, Man U, Chelsea, and Southampton. How many are you taking?
I'm going. It doesn't really matter, does it, what I say? So I'm going 7. I'm going 1 Man U, 3 Chelsea, 3 Southampton.
Okay, I like that.
I was ambitious at 6.
Bloody hell, Ez, beat that.
I did say I was delusional.
I was going to agree with him as well.
That's what it is. It's the older generation. Sorry, Ez. We've still got these glasses on from many years ago.
You can look me in with that, because I was going to be just as optimistic. Because I've never predicted, even if I think Forest are going to lose, I'll never predict Forest to beat. But I genuinely think I've said this. I think it's the best time to be playing 2 of the top 6 teams. Chelsea and Man U are going to have a lot of players out from this World Cup, and it's as good a time as any to play him. It's as good a time as any, and we couldn't really. The problem is if he doesn't take this opportunity, and that's the only thing that will be killing it. But I kind of changed what I was going to say earlier, but Dino kind of threw a spanner in, because I think I would play 3 in midfield against Man U, but I wouldn't necessarily play 3 in midfield against Blackburn. So I'm kind of going against what I said earlier, but I stick with the same formation for both games. But
this might be the problem, as
yeah,
it might be the problem because he wants to play MGW, does he? Because he's his man, he's his boy, and that's probably where this false 9 things come from. Because he won't want to drop him to put an extra man in midfield, will he? And then we end up dropping a striker.
Yeah,
interesting.
That is the issue. Yeah. So potentially, I would say 7 points. We can do it. We've got as good a chance as any to get any, like I say, something out of the Man U and the Chelsea games. And Southampton is a 6-pointer, and we've messed up on a few of our 6 points already this season. Let's not do it again against a Southampton team who we have this fake rivalry with. But we've got to be optimistic, haven't we? Because we finished the we got to the break in as good a shape as we could have done with what was available points-wise from those last few games. And I think we've got to just kind of try and ride on that, even though these friendlies haven't given us really too much. It was nice to get the win against Valencia, and I think the win was if not more important than the actual performance in that game. I think the confidence that it should give us, really, hopefully, will take advantage of it and start off against Man U in some sort of positive fashion.
So you're saying 7?
I've gone with 7.
Wolverine.
Okay, let me throw the spanner in the works on this.
Wolverine, just a sec. I'm going to go off camera because it's distracting. The lag's distracting. So I'm going to go off camera, but I'm still here. Yeah.
I think we'll all thank you for not having to see your face.
Yeah, I agree.
And for Ant's OCD, I've got to keep everyone in the original order, or he gets a little narky about it. Okay,
sorry, boys, lost power there on my tablet.
That's all right, man.
Device.
That's right.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Ez, I want to throw a spanner in the works. I'm going to be negative for a second.
Okay.
If we lose to Man U and we lose to Chelsea, and we find ourselves dragged back in towards the Wolves, are we in trouble? I mean, I think really what I'm asking I know these are big teams we're playing against, but is it important that we get some points out of it? What would be the minimum requirement out of Man U and Chelsea? Forget Southampton for a second, but do we have to go out of those games with at least a couple of points?
Yeah, I think minimum requirement is that we get a point from each game. You can't write any game off. Every game, every point that we can pick up in this league is going to be crucial, considering the position that we're in and the fight that we're in. And what we need to do at worst is give the other team something to think about, because to be fair, we've been the whipping boys, and we've been the whipping boys for a reason, because we've made it so easy for the opposition, whether it's top tier opposition or teams that are in the bottom half. We've made it too easy for us. So that mentality has to change, and we've got to compete in every single game, and that's a minimum I'm expecting from any team. So I would say if we can get a point out of each of those, I'd be happy with that. Because there's not many teams who are going to take anything off Man U or Chelsea. So if we can get something off them, then I'm sure that goes in our favour massively.
But is it, Dino, if we came out of those two with nothing, would we have, a right to gripe about them or not? Because they are big clubs. I can't. Man U, I've got honestly on par with Derby with my hatred for him, because Twist is a fan. My generation, everyone in school was a Glory supporter, Man U fan, and what have you. I can't stand them. Yeah. But for me, it's going to be one of those games where I'm going to get really passionate about it, win or lose. Yeah. But realistically speaking, they're two big clubs, and Forest have just come up. Walking away with 0 points, is it the end of the world, or do we have to get something?
No. Like I say, I think we can pick up points in those games, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, it used to be the end of the world years ago when we had 2 points for a win and 1 for a draw. Now, that's so funny. That is. I saw that earlier. That's so funny. But no, it's not desperate. We've got to beat the teams around us. And I might have the rose tinted glasses on, but I'm really, really hoping that Scarpa's going to be our saviour, to be honest, because looking at him, he can win games on his own. So I'm hoping that when he gets up and running, whenever Cooper decides to let him off the leash, maybe May.
Bloody hell, man.
then he'll win us some points. Because there's players like that win you games.
Yeah.
The Messis, the Ronaldos of this world,
Yeah.
like we spoke earlier, they're the ones that win you games. And we've got that one. And NGW behind him, by the way.
Ez, you want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I just want to make a quick point about Scarpa, because as soon as he's available, you got to play him. What I don't want to do, and might be a bit of a weird analogy, but I don't want to do what some other teams do. Say for a penalty shootout, and you don't play your best penalty taker first. Use him up. If he might not last till the end of the season because he has just finished a full season. So use him up for as much as we can get out of him. I think not to flog him, not to flog the dead horse, but while he's on form, while he seems so enthusiastic, while he seems to be making an impression on the rest of the team as well, I'd use him, mate. Honestly, I think waiting to see if we can drag him out and get him, get a longer term out of him might be a big mistake. Use him while we can. Use him while he's not.
And while he's not getting depressed about not playing.
Yeah.
Cooper's got this program for him. You can imagine his motivation just.
He's right, though, isn't he? Trevor's right here. I will be fuming. Yeah, if he is registered in time for Chelsea and he's not the first name on the team sheet, I'm going to lose my shit with Cooper. I really am. Yeah, I don't, because and the reason why is when Morgan Gibbs-White, when we bought him, he was chucked straight onto the bench in the Everton match that same afternoon, kind of thing. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little, but don't tell me Scarpa's not fit enough to play. He was like a whip it out there against Valencia. And I think the fans will get, I don't know, at least speaking for myself, I will. So would you chuck him straight in?
It's not just our fans, it's not just you, it's all the Brazilians, all those all those Brazilian fans on social media. Bloody hell. I saw this clip yesterday. It was like I saw this clip yesterday. It was like a blurry highlights reel of Scarpa. It was like 270,000 views on YouTube. I was like, what?
Get it, man. And my HD 4K one gets like 2 views.
And this is like a mid-season friendly of Forest against Valencia. Like no one would normally care about that.
But sorry, doesn't that show the point that even though he's left them, and we will be bringing on a Palmeiras YouTuber in the build-up to the Chelsea game because we're going to assume that he's going to play. But doesn't it show you the point? I can't remember a player, even the ones that I've loved, who have left Forest, that I haven't kind of wished them a broken ankle kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's okay, I'm not a broken, but I haven't really wanted them to do well going away from Forest. I'm just an asshole. But the Palmeiras fans, they're desperate for him to shine in the Premier League. You know what I mean? Does that not show us the quality we've got here?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can understand why. It's not just his obviously football abilities. It's all the off the pitch stuff. It's this general personality, isn't it? He's got, he's a very likable guy. He does a lot off the pitch. You can see why fans are like crazy about him. But yeah, I'll stick him straight in. He's got that raw sort of no fear confidence at the moment. I feel like watching Forest up until the start of the watching Forest the first half of the season, we've been scared a lot of the games. There's been so much fear with a lot of the players. You can tell they don't want to like shoot. They don't want to like make that risky pass. Whereas Scarpa, you can tell he's got that raw, no fear attitude. He would take a shot from miles outside the box. So that's where I want to see. And obviously, he's a big unknown at the moment, isn't he? No team in the Premier League knows about him. He reminds me a little bit when, do you remember Bruno Fernandes came into Man United? That sort of, he came into a team which had so much fear and so much, getting beaten by Burnley. He came in, made a big impact with, no fear, taking shots from outside the box, making things happen.
Yeah.
I hope that Scarpa can have, that sort of impact.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll chuck him straight in. But yeah, Cooper will be in for a lot of abuse on social media if he doesn't, if he doesn't start Scarpa. Jeez.
I've been supporting Forest since age of 7. I'm mid-50s now, so he's had the same impact over the years as Collymore had on me. I think that's what I feel inside when I look at him play. I just get that same feeling. Obviously, not the same position, but he's just an exciting talent. He's just we're so lucky to have him. I mean, it's genius whoever signed him and found him. scouted him. Absolute genius.
That's such a good point, because he's definitely not a Cooper signing. So I don't hear people complaining that this one isn't a Cooper signing.
And that's why he's on a programme. It's true, though. I'm sorry, it's true.
It's and Scarpa time.
I've gone on phone. Is that better?
It's better, but you sound like you're in
great.
the Himalayas, mate.
It's not bad.
It's like you're on Mars, mate.
Shall I just go back on laptop and
Just put, the red tint you had on earlier. Put that on with that sound, and it will look like you're on Mars.
Hey, Bobby, it's great to have you on board. Thanks, and we'll see you soon, mate. Yeah, and jump back on the other one and go without the camera. We're all happier when we don't see her.
yeah.
Okay. Right. I just want to. We've been going quite a while. I want to get onto the Q&As.
Sorry, Wolverine. Sorry, just before you get onto that, you were just talking about the next 2 games, Man United, Chelsea. If we don't win those, are we in trouble? That just reminded me, we're back on the roller coaster, aren't we? We're back on the emotional roller coaster of Forest again. Like, I've forgotten about all that. I've forgotten because the World Cup came. I've forgotten about all that stuff about these 2 games. You don't win those, you're in trouble. It's been quite nice without that, but now, we're all going to be bracing for it again. I'm looking forward to it, mate. I'm looking forward to it. But the World Cup was definitely a nice break from it all. You can just watch football without stress or worry.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a come down, Simon.
But literally, I forgot about all this stuff about surviving and winning this game, winning that game. Don't get caught adrift.
Brilliant football in the World Cup, and then all of a sudden got to watch Forest again.
But you are right. In a way, I'm apprehensive about it, but I want it at the same time. It's like there's pain coming, don't you? It's like taking an injection or something. You have to take it, but you're worried about the pain.
Adrenaline, but it's going to wear off.
Yeah. And are you with us?
No. I've turned the camera off. Fuck me. I don't know what's gone off tonight.
No, you haven't. We can still see you.
No, I mean, I'm saying I was just giving it one more go. Right. That's
all right. Go on. Give us your Scarpa say, and then we'll jump into these Q&As. So, guys, in the Q&A tab, get your questions in if there's someone you specifically want to ask. And Ant, over to you on Scarpa.
Well, I think you know what I think about him. Like Dino said, I'm hoping that he's going to be our Collymore, you know what I mean? I hope he's going to come in and smash it. And from what I've seen, I've got no reason to doubt it. I mean, against Valencia, I thought he was outstanding. He came on and it's like as soon as he came on the pitch, there was a spark. He lifted the whole team. And I think that the balls he's capable of providing will get the best out of people like Taiwo. And I can't wait. I hope he plays against Chelsea, but I doubt he will.
Okay. All right. I don't know what's worse, looking at his picture from 30 years ago or his slow-ass video. But anyway.
It's not 30 years ago. It's from about 6 months ago, but I'm very good at Photoshop.
All right, let's get on to these questions. First question we got is from Owen. He says, one person other than Lingard out of the main team, who would you choose? I mean, seeing us bust by Owen, we've got to point this Dino's way.
Sorry, repeat the question.
One person other than Lingard out of the main team, I think he's saying. Who would you choose?
Can I choose Colback?
No.
Or is that out?
Main team, he said. Not your deluded team.
Toffolo.
Toffolo, okay.
Because we've got his fourth choice, really, isn't he?
Is he talking out of the club or is he talking out of the team?
Well, if he's talking out of the club, I think Toffolo.
Let's go. Okay.
If he's talking out of the team, Lingard, 100%. Don't get me started on that again. I feel on Friday with that.
I think he's saying out of the team, isn't he? And he's given a proviso you can't use Lingard. So I'm going with Cook. I can't believe you didn't say Cook,
Cook.
but yeah, I don't.
That was an
I don't
easy
want-
one. I
Oh
was
yes,
going
it's
to say.
apart from Lingard.
I
Sorry.
can't believe you didn't say Cook either.
It was such an easy question, Dino.
I was waiting
I'm
for it.
sorry.
I was going to get straight in there.
It's past my bedtime. I'm old. Kira's waiting to tuck me in.
Simon, anyone you want to see out of the first team squad that isn't Cook?
It's a long list.
Not particularly, to be honest. Yeah, it's Cook for me.
You're quite happy. All right, cool. Next question is from Trent and 08. Do you think we have a chance of a loan deal for Man United's James, as he also had Welsh links too?
James doesn't play for Man United.
I was going to
Plays
say,
for Leeds.
is he talking about Dan James there?
Yeah.
I see him.
We don't need a player like that.
No.
We've got enough.
Anyone interested in Dan
overloaded
James? Because I'm not.
I'm not.
He's just a pace merchant, merchant, isn't he?
We've got
That's
one
all
of
he does.
yeah.
We've got enough of that in the team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brennan's better.
Brennan.
Yeah.
So no.
Okay.
He's at Fulham anyway. He's not going to leave.
Yeah, Mark Gilson says, should we give a long run out with Dennis? At least he has experience. Should we give Dennis a longer run out, basically?
Definitely, and play him in his right position. Play him on the left side, cutting in. Yeah, he needs to run. One year needs to run in the team and get them set up for when Scarpa can come in, because I think they would be part of my front four. When Scarpa's fully fit and firing, I think, he's definitely give him a run. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Can I just stick my 2 pence in with Dennis? You know what I think of him. I think he's a fabulous player. I think he's a fabulous player. Power, pace, can score goals. Proven in the Premier League. I just think he needs to be given a long run, a chance, and I think he'll star for us.
I fully agree. Anyone not wanting to see Dennis in the team? No? Okay. Let's move on to the next question. I may have to take this one away, Tommy. He says, do loan deals from foreign clubs count towards the maximum loan numbers allowed? It doesn't, does it? I believe you can have 2 from the Premier League and 4 from foreign clubs, is my understanding, but no more than 3 that can be active at any one time. I think I'm about right with that. I don't know if anyone in the chat wants to correct me or anyone on the panel.
I think you're right.
It's something like that, but I can double check it for you, Tommy. It's roughly that guideline. And then another question from Tommy here as well. I accept the club are now sticking with Cooper for the season, but why don't they recruit an experienced old hand as Cooper's assistant manager to help Cooper out in the Premiership? I think that's an interesting question, because obviously Andy Reid is there with no Prem experience. Simon, would you like to see a bit of an experienced hand alongside Cooper? Answer that while I cough.
I mean, who are the candidates for that? I generally don't know, to be honest.
Make them up. I'm coughing.
Would you want to see Roy Keane back in the assistant
No,
manager?
oh my God. I love Roy Keane. I love Roy Keane, but as a pundit.
Yeah,
as a pundit.
My thoughts on that is you can't have 2 cooks. You know, you can. Sorry about the cook bit.
No.
You know, you got to have a manager, and you can't have Cooper. Do you think Cooper'd accept somebody coming in over him? No,
I agree. I think Cooper's actually stronger than you think. He's got his own opinions.
Yeah.
He's obviously got his own style. You know, we talked about the programs earlier that he's got players on different programs, and I think he'll do it in his way. I think he's his own man. So I don't know about you, Dino. Upsetting the apple cart now will help Forest.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know about you, Dino, but I've got a lot of confidence in his training and tactics.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of confidence, and he knows what to do. Just because sometimes we don't agree with what he does, doesn't mean he doesn't know what he's doing. And I think he does, and I think he's quite strong-minded in that. And
look how good we were last year under his after Chris Hughton. Just look how he turned that round quickly, and we played.
But just to give you the flip side, Dean, some would argue what was the role Stephen Reid was playing in that.
Yeah, well, that is the thing.
Well, he was on set pieces apparently.
Yep.
He was doing the set piece tactics. Have you seen that interview?
We'll never know.
Of course not.
Unless we know somebody in the club that's going to spill, we'll never ever know. But at the end of the day, it's quite strange. It's like gone from black to white with Cooper, last year we knew the formation or the formations. We knew who was on the team sheet. You could almost, it's laughable. It was so predictable. And now it's gone completely the other way around. So I don't think a number 2 would help him. I think that would just, at this stage of the season, don't bother, because it would just upset. You just can't risk it, not at this stage of the season.
And also, one of the reasons why he could stick to the same formation and personnel last year is because we were winning. This year, we've come up into the hardest league in the world with a whole bunch of new players, and he has struggled to find the correct formation because we've not been winning. You can't stick to, you can't just stick to a formation if you're losing. So you have to try something different.
But it's been much better since Leicester.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I've got no issues whatsoever with what we've done since Leicester.
I think we'll be all right this season. I think but I think it'll be tight. But I think we'll stay up.
Yeah, I agree.
Has any thoughts on this older hand thing?
If just kind of alluding to what the guys have said, if it wasn't done at the start of the season, I think doing it now sends the wrong message. It doesn't give almost like a reverse vote of confidence to Cooper, isn't it? If you bring somebody else in now, so yeah, I wouldn't do it. Don't have a start of the season. That's touched in the past. That I think with all of them lacking any Premier League experience, it would have been handy to have somebody in there who's coached at this level, but it hasn't happened. And doing it now just sends that wrong message for me. So I wouldn't do it now. No. 100%.
Also, just very quickly on Stephen Reid, beautiful guy, really nice bloke,
nice.
But we've come out of the Championship, which we hammered. We've come into, as I say, the hardest league in the world, and because we've not been winning, you look at things to blame. Steve Reid's left. It must be that then. Not necessarily so. Steve Reid could have been there, and we could have had the same results because Cooper's his own man at the end of the day. So it's just a bit like when a player's injured, all of a sudden he's the best player in the squad, isn't he?
Yeah, like Niakate, we've got a lot riding on his shoulders coming back, haven't we? Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next question. It's from MG Dub. If it is MG Dub, I love you. He asks, what position should we sign in January? In my opinion, we need a CB, Lacroix, and then an L Dub who can play striker. And he's a suggestion, Becker, there from Union Berlin.
We've got one, Dennis.
Yeah, they're very similar players, aren't they? I think we've covered most of that with the centre-back stuff, but Becker has been linked. Simon, any thoughts on... Well, you just made him clear, but what are your thoughts on Becker?
Just quickly on the no, thank you. No, we've got enough wingers that can play, striker role because he is a winger, isn't he? He's not a striker. He's been
put there to replace Owoni.
Yeah.
You know what we need? We need a striker to play as a striker.
Yeah, exactly. None of this is like wingers playing number 9.
Complicated. We need a striker and we need central defenders.
Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement with that, aren't we?
But a centre back, we need a centre back, definitely.
I think every Forest fan's made it clear. Centre back, right-sided centre back and striker.
Yeah,
I think the 2-1 and luxury item for me would then be a CDM as well, a proper out-and-out CDM.
Yeah.
I thought that was Kouyaté, to be honest, with this out-and-out CDM. I don't know why we've not been playing him there. It's mad. Like, in the Liverpool game, I know. In the Liverpool game, he was running in on goal and, calling for the ball to, calling for Yates to pass the ball to him. I don't know why Freuler's not doing that. That's Freuler's natural position, isn't it? I keep saying this, but them two need to swap positions.
Thank you. In all my years of watching Kouyaté play, I've never seen him play as a box-to-box. I've seen him as a centre-back, as a CDM. And you're spot on. Guys in the chat, do you agree or not? Switch Freuler and... Well, he's injured, but theoretically, those two needed to switch around, didn't they?
Yeah, 100%.
Madness. And also Yates getting too high up as well, in my opinion. Yates is playing too high up.
Yeah.
We're not going to stay in the Premier League with Yates, taking shots from inside the box. That's not his game. His game is, at the moment, I would probably play Yates CDM. Would you? Put him in that CDM role, breaking up the play, just passing the ball to Mangala and let them do the work.
Ez, would you do that? I
think the issue has been that Kouyaté can't take the ball off the centre backs and turn on it. I think that's what's been the issue, and I think Freuler does that better. But the player that does it the best, Mangala. Well, if he's in there, I've got no qualms about it. I don't think we're going to be missing Kouyaté as much as possible. But yeah, both me and you, Simon, you just made a point that both me and Wolverine, and I think Ant have made as well, but we didn't understand why it wasn't the other way around with Freuler and Kouyaté. But he's worked. To be fair, he's been one of the signings that I was least excited about, but actually has impressed me most. Yeah, so he's not done bad, but yeah, we haven't got him for at least 2 months, so we're going to have to look at other options. But for me, Mangala, keeping him fit is a key to how we want to play. And if we can keep him fit, I think we can definitely have a better second half of the season or second part of the season than our first part, I think, definitely.
So if you're playing 3 in the midfield, who are you playing in that CDM position? Or are you keeping Freuler there?
No, if I've got Freuler and Mangala available, I'm playing Mangala in that CDM.
If you play three in the midfield.
Yeah. So Mangala, Freuler, and either Yates or O'Brien as the other one. So, but
I agree with that.
In the CDM, yeah.
What would you say?
The thing is,
I would put Yates CDM and then Mangala and Freuler in front of them.
I think Yates would be a great CDM, honestly.
Yeah.
I really do.
But
as the point is really good, though. It's not one I've thought about.
Yeah, his point is really good.
CDM, but he can't take the ball and then, thread the balls out from the back. He would break up the play really well.
He just gives it to Freuler or one of the others to do that.
Yeah.
But then that kind of takes away from their game. We're going to have to be like pretty much
deeper
right next to him. Yeah, I play a lot deeper. So yeah, that's why it did. That's why I think Kouyaté. I think he tried him out in the Bournemouth game. If I remember back, I think he started off as a CDM. He did have a decent game then because he scored the goal in the first half, didn't he? But I think he didn't work as in being able to take the ball off the back four or off a goalkeeper and progress it forward. And I think that's why Cooper hasn't played him in that CDM position. And I think that you'd have the same problem if you played Yates in that position as well. So for me, it has to be Mangala if he's totally fit.
No, that's a good point. But the problem is we're missing out on Freuler's quality up front, higher up the pitch. Because a lot of the times, in that Liverpool game, we had a few chances where Kouyaté nearly had a shot or Yates was trying to lift it over Alisson. Freuler is that type of player you want in that position. We saw him score the goal in the World Cup. Yeah, exactly. So, I do agree with Ez. I've never really thought about it like that. But, I suppose that must be the reason why Cooper's playing him there. I can't think of any other reasons because Freuler's not naturally brilliant breaking up the play type of player. He's quite, for me, he's quite weak on the ball. It's saw Richarlison bully him off the ball in that Spurs game when they scored the second goal. So, that's a good point you make there.
Yeah. So if you play Mangala there, you can play Freuler slightly further ahead of him and get the best out of Freuler, I believe. So that's what I do. And if you,
but is Mangala good at breaking up play?
Yeah, I think he is.
I think he is.
I think his Everton performance is exactly what he did. What let him down in that game is when he got so many opportunities. He got to the edge of the box and he was too scared to have a shot. And unfortunately, he got injured and had to be taken off. But Yatesy coming on, the first thing Yatesy did was take a shot. And he got us on the front foot and it changed the game. So that's the only thing that lets Mangala down. So I would be quite happy to have him play that deeper position because he can run with the ball as well. He can certainly get the ball off the back four and the goalkeeper and progress it forward. He turns on it with no fear, and I don't think Kouyaté or Yatesy can quite do that.
Yeah, can I just have a quick word about Yatesy? Yates is
of course you can, mate.
Yates is a great box-to-box midfielder, but he's no CDM. To be a CDM, there are very few good CDMs about. And to be a CDM, you've got to be able to receive the ball from the goalkeeper or from your back line and be able to turn on it and pass it. And he can't do that. That's not his game. He can't. I've said on the podcast, the greatest attribute a midfielder's got is being able to turn on the ball and pass it. And that's not Yates' bag. So I don't think as a CDM, people think a CDM is just a destroyer. He's not. He's not just a destroyer. He's got to be able to pass the ball.
But that is part of it, and you got to be able to destroy the play.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. But it's not just that. That's what a centre-back
does. I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, a CDM has got to be more than just a destroyer. He's got to be able to turn on the ball and pass it. And that's not Yates' strength, in my opinion.
Can I just point you back to Miski's comment we need 4-2-3-1, definitely a strike up front. I think we're talking about 3 in midfield here because we've got 2 weak centre backs. And in the first part of the season, we would can you remember them just run. Everybody just ran through the middle of our midfield, didn't they?
Yeah.
If we get 2 strong centre backs, and I think that impacts the rest of the play. I think that impacts why we're playing a false 9 because we don't want to drop MGW. Therefore, we don't play a striker. And I think the 2 centre backs, if we get Niakate and another that are strong with a bit of pace and a bit of agility to turn quick, then I think you can play 2 in midfield, and that then frees us up further to put a striker on and our 3 favourite players up front.
Because if they have that pace, they can play higher up, can't they? Because they've got the pace to recover. Therefore, Freuler naturally is higher up.
Yeah, because I'm worried about at the moment, Freuler can't play in the 2 in midfield. At the moment, Freuler can't play a 2 in the midfield. That's why I worry about the 4-2-3-1 at the moment. You can't just leave Freuler in there with a... Yeah, but we've got... Who's he pairing up with? He's not got Xhaka next to him. And the centre-backs we've got are just awful.
I disagree with you on the pairing with the midfielders. I agree with you that the problem's behind him. Because I think him and Mangala or him and Yates and him and O'Brien could do it. It's the slowness behind them that's the issue.
Because we tried it and they got overrun. Didn't he get paired with Yates? I can't remember which game it was now, but I remember them just getting completely overrun.
Fulham, I think. Yeah, Fulham.
Square, it was the two midfielders and the 2 centre backs that were our weak area. That's the problem. And if you fix the 2 centre backs, then you can. I think we can play with 2 in the middle, especially in games where, like home games, where you're expected to, get points.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the away game, then you can play a 3 and lose out on a 10.
Yep.
And you jumping in there and something?
No. I'm back.
Hey, welcome back. Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's an interesting question. Go on, Ez.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say exactly what Dino said. Us being able to play 2 central defender midfielders is very dependent on getting Niakate back. But it changes the dynamic of our game massively if we get him back. And I hope Cooper doesn't resort to a back 3 once Niakate is fit.
God.
I fear he's kind of spawning towards that, but I hope he doesn't go there. But yeah, that's essential. But a 2 right now, I think Mangala and Freuler can work as a 2. Mangala and Yates didn't work as a 2 in that game because it gave too much emphasis on Mangala playing a more settled position, and I don't think it worked for him. And I think it was, again, early on in his Forest career, he took a little bit longer to settle for various reasons, whether it's for, moving to a new country, moving to a new place, bringing his family over, whatever reason was, he took a little bit longer to settle. But right now, if we did play a 2, I would be comfortable playing Mangala with Freuler if we had to.
I think they can do it, but I think Dino's point on the centre backs is the key one, which makes centre backs for me my priority in the January window, and I'm not hearing any names at all at the moment. Okay, let's finish up with these last couple of questions. I would answer it, but it's going to take us forever to do everyone starting 11. Listen to the podcast. We did a couple of starting 11s there. Guys, if you haven't already, go and listen to the podcast after we wrap up. The new episode is out. The link's in the description below. And I'm sure Omar will put it in the chat for us as well if he's still awake. Ian says, why do people want us to play 2 in midfield in the Premier League when we've been dominated every time trying that? He's got a point, hasn't he? He's got a point. We have half covered it. And what's your answer to that one?
I'd always prefer 3 midfield because the midfield is where games are often won and lost. So I'd always prefer 3 midfield. And I like Freuler, O'Brien, and Mangala.
Short and sweet. Anyone? Okay, I think we've covered most of that off, Ian. For me, my argument back to that would be with the 4-2-3-1, you get 5 bodies in, technically speaking, in the midfield. That's how I would see it, because you'd have MG Dub does track back. He's not the greatest at tackling, but he puts a body there. Scarpa, he's a backtracker as well. Dennis, not so much. Lingard gets back, but probably causes more issues than help when he does come back. So I'd just rather he gets back onto the bench, but that's a whole different debate. But that's why I would favor it. It also frees up Freuler to go higher up the pitch. The whole point of me wanting a 4-2-3-1 is to release Freuler higher up the pitch with having a Mangala who can hold in behind. I also take people back to the Spurs match earlier in the season when O'Brien and Mangala did it as a 2 and controlled the midfield against Spurs, who are a decent team. I mean, they still 4th in the league or what have you. So I think if you have the right personnel, you can do it, but it needs the right personnel in there as well.
And again, sorry, very quickly. Again, it's horses for courses to an extent as well. It does depend on who you're playing, whether you're in the way and stuff like that as well.
Yep. Question from Trevor Francis's tracksuit. If Scarpa plays in the 10 position, where do we play MG Dub as?
I would go against doing that. I'd play MG Dub in a 10 position and have Scarpa on the right cutting in. That was his favoured position for Palmeiras last season.
Yeah.
It's used to. He can make as good an impact from there, but better impact from there than Gibbs White could be if he was pushed out to the wide, either left or right. So I would actually not. I think Cooper knows that Gibbs White is one of his key players. So I wouldn't be surprised if you build a team around him. But I wouldn't move him. I'd keep him in 10 and get the best out of him because we haven't quite seen the best of MG Dub. And I think Freuler can as well. But I think Scarpa certainly can bring the best out of some of our other players, and I'd leave Gibbs White in the 10th position personally.
Can I add to that? If MG Dub gets injured or needs a rest, Scarpa can drop straight in there, can't he? Because he can play anywhere, and he could even play box to box for me. Looking at him against Valencia,
I think he's played left back at one point.
Yeah, he can play anywhere. So he should get plenty of game time. Might not always be on the right because Jono's not going to sit out every game, is he? Because we need his pace in some games. So I think you'll see Scarpa dot around the pitch, to be honest, but mainly on the right.
Long as he plays.
If he plays, yeah.
You know what? From what I saw, he looks equally adept with both feet.
Yeah, he's good with both feet, yeah.
So he could even play on the left, couldn't he? He could literally play anywhere. Yeah, so he's a good player to have around. And
it goes back to that's a confidence thing. He's full of confidence at the moment. It'd be such an own goal because I think the guys agree with me. I'm sure the club pay attention to maybe not what we're saying, but what goes on social media and things like that. And the fans are itching at the bit to see this. This will be a massive own goal if they don't play him as soon as he's available to play. But we've seen them do that, so let's just think about.
Just like to go back very quickly, something Wolverine said earlier on about whoever scouted him. Mm-hmm. We've got the Brazilian Player of the Year.
Yeah.
You know, how the hell? Fantastic piece of scouting.
For free. Don't forget. For free. Yeah, absolutely. And Real Madrid just paid 60 million.
Yeah, 60 million for a
16-year-old kid. Yeah, exactly.
From Palmeiras.
Yeah, from Palmeiras,
Yeah, and they're on about that. There's another Palmeiras player that's being scouted as well for a lot of money. Another youngster.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Palmeiras. They're turning into the Huddersfield of Brazil. They just get ripped open. But okay.
Yeah.
So are you on the same?
Well, by the way, Aurier free, another great player.
Yeah.
The other night we voted him player of the season so far.
I would agree with that.
He has been the biggest revelation because I think all of us were a bit like, Spurs fans walking red card, mistakes, and something like that. He's been fantastic. It's changed.
I think we were fed up by the time Aurier came in. We were fed up with the signings. We were just like, oh my god, another one. Another one, jeez. But no, he's been quality for free as well.
Yeah. As out of all of our signings, he probably came with the least amount of expectation on him, and he's proved to be one of the best, without a doubt.
I was thinking, why do we need him? We've got Nico.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But I do agree with N2. There's only 2 players that have got me as aroused about Scarpa. And one was Brian Roy. As a kid, my all-time favourite. The other was Pierre Van Hooijdonk, man. It was like, those are the two. I haven't had this boyish feeling since Pierre Van Hooijdonk, man. So I really hope we're not overhyping him too much.
Well, you weren't around when Cloughie signed Paddy Greenwood, were you?
No, I was not.
Or
I don't know.
Roy
Can
Keane,
you remember that one?
Roy Keane from Cove Ramblers, remember that?
Mia Dennehy, Georgie Lyle, Barry Butlin. Now we're talking.
Barry Butlin.
So you lot moan. You seen what we've had to go through?
Yeah.
Barry
We've had to go
Butlin.
through David Platt.
Oh God!
Oh, God. Oh god, Shimmiker as well. Remember Shimmiker playing?
Yeah,
Skimmiker was all right. No, Skimmiker was all right. He wasn't a bad player.
It wasn't the worst, was he? It wasn't the worst.
Once he was converted to centre back, he was actually good. He wasn't good as a centre midfielder, but when he was converted to centre back, he was actually really decent. He's not the worst one we've signed over time.
I'm not saying he's the worst one, but he just
You should do an old going back because there's so many players.
We definitely, yeah.
Jimmy
well, funny you should say that.
Jimmy McIntosh. Oh yeah.
Well, funny you should say that. Tomorrow's video, I've got my lifetime's best Forest 11 from my choices.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah. So I'm just piecing that together for tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'll be interested to see.
Yeah, but you've only been a fan since the playoffs, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, it's our starting 11 now, isn't it? But yeah, I'm no doubt going to get all kinds of abuse for the players I've chosen. But I tell you, it is one tasty team. So keep an eye out. That'll be out tomorrow.
Be interested to see that.
Yeah.
I know you're going to be like,
to shreds.
well, remember, I'm only 21, right? So I don't go as far back as some, right?
Me and Ant can do one, and it'll just go over everybody's head completely.
Yeah.
Like, who's that?
It was the Italian dog we had. You're talking about Salenzi, aren't you? Oh my God. He didn't make my team, surprisingly enough. My
Andre
God.
Salenzi.
Platt signed 2 or 3, didn't they? Italians.
Yeah, Gianluca or something.
All right, we're digressing. We're digressing.
Yeah, you got to be careful because once we start reminiscing.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the clock. What the hell? So let's wrap up with the last couple of questions. Do we know anything about the MG Dub injury? Says Estro. Not yet. I've heard some rumors 2 to 3 months. I don't believe them. As always, the club is playing secret squirrel with it. I believe he was taken off as a precaution, but I can't tell you for sure about that. So as soon as I do, of course, it'll be on the daily videos. Okay, Andrew saying, will Cooper be retained? And as well, will Cooper persist in picking Cook, or will he see sense?
Does he mean detained or retained?
Retained, yeah.
No, not detained.
Go on, Dino. Will he be retained?
What, to the end of the season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it now. I think it is what it is. But this season, I think they've stuck by Cooper. They gave him a new contract. You know, they made a couple of scapegoats out of a couple of the recruitment guys, and then, so yeah, it is what it is to the end of the season.
Yeah. Does everyone agree? I think he's here, come what may.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that.
Go on, Si.
Go on, sir.
It's the Premier League, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
so
it's a
much
good
money
point.
in there. Like, you win if we go on a massive losing streak, and you know we're cut adrift. You know, he might get cut adrift.
Yeah, I don't think we will go on a massive losing streak though.
I'm just saying, like, you're saying that is there any chance of him leaving?
Yeah.
That's the only way I can see it.
Yeah, Simon's right because I thought you said Lincoln.
While the fans are still singing his name, I think it's going to be very difficult for the club to get rid of him.
Yeah, definitely.
But does that matter if Simon's right? Say we go on a 5, 6, 7 game streak, Man U all the way to, I don't know, Bournemouth or whoever it is. Does he survive that?
I think he
Possibly
probably
not, but I
does.
don't think we will go on that streak again.
No, we won't. But I think he probably would survive it.
I know, but we're answering Andrew's question. We're being hypothetical here.
If we did go on that streak, then yeah, he'd probably lose his job.
Yeah.
Because Marinakis is very ambitious.
Yeah. Because going back on what something Simon said, and he was there that night, he was so close after that Leicester defeat of going. And if it hadn't been for the fans that night, I firmly believe that kept him in the job. I genuinely believe so. Do
you believe that? Do you believe Marinakis is willing to risk at the time what he was thinking because of the fans? Because it's not. We're not talking about pocket change.
But
Or do you think it's because he didn't get who he wanted?
I just think the bond was that strong. You can tell the bond was that strong between the supporters and Cooper. That would just been, that'd be trauma if Cooper had gone there. I think. We've looked. I mean, at that time as well, we were all hanging on to memories of last season and last season's players. And if we had lost the manager as well, I reckon that would have been quite low to go into. Because when he got the contract, I was really excited about it. I don't know about you guys. That felt like a new lease of life in our season when Cooper signed his contract. It felt special though.
Sorry, go on.
I was fine with that. It was after, I think it was the Wolves game for me, when it just was like low block, no ambition, no attacking. That's when I was like, what? And then I was looking ahead. We had Liverpool, Arsenal. I can't remember the other game.
No, because I was at that game as well. And when I was on the train back, that was the first time I heard sort of Forest fans, moaning about Cooper and, saying he's not up to it. Because we were all saying on the train as well, we were talking to the Wolves fans and we just did what you did, just looked at the fixtures. We've got Liverpool, Arsenal. It didn't look like there was any light at the end of the tunnel with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, we know how that turned out. So I think
I'm still not confident in his ability. I think it's a discussion that's mute because I don't think he's going. Like you say, I don't think we're gonna go on a run of losing. I still think Scarpa will save us, if I'm being honest with you. Not putting much pressure on him. And on top of that, I think we got the squad. I really like our squad, apart from the defense. I really like our squad. I think we are 2 players short of being comfortably mid-table. Good defender, Niakate back fit, and a striker. And I think any manager could potentially work something with that team. So I think we'll be fine. But it was that Wolves game where I was looking ahead, like you were saying something. I'm like, Liverpool, Arsenal.
But he was still dabbling at that point, wasn't he, with his foot? And he still is. But he was really dabbling then. I mean, at least he's getting to the fine-tune bit now.
Yeah. What I want to see is more progressive football. I can't watch a whole season of low-blocking football. I'm sorry, I can't. Not with the players we've got. But if he's going to sit there and low-block against Man U, Chelsea, Southampton, I'm going to lose my shit. But anyway, that's for when it happens. We'll see.
I can understand low block in away games. Definitely, I can understand us doing that. But at home, with the energy of the City ground behind us, you can't do that.
Yeah, but we need away points, Simon. We're not going to win every game at home.
We've been playing all right at home.
Yeah, it's night and day, isn't it? From home to away.
But
we can't survive on just home.
That's like most teams in the Premier League. I think most teams were on that 1 win away the whole season, and we're talking about established Premier League sides.
Yeah.
And we've seen game, isn't it?
Yeah, we've seen it when they've come to us. We've seen it when they've come to us. Palace, how many shots they have on goal? I don't know what it is. It's obviously something impactful, because we see it with big teams that come to Forest. They can't get over the line as well. So. Yeah,
it is weird when you think about it, isn't it? It's the same football. It's the same size pitch, roughly, same amount of players. Why does it have such a weird impact? And you got to say the crowd does have a play with it, isn't it? In the mind, yes.
It's the mind, I think, most of the time.
Yeah, it's up here. Can I just address a couple of comments in the chat? Spacebar. I guess I could forgive you now, but I'll never forget.
What's he talking about? I don't go that far back, mate.
1974 FA Cup, Forest away to Newcastle, Forest 3-1 up, fans invaded the pitch with 10 minutes to go, punched our guys in the stomach, punched John Robertson in the stomach, and they went on to win that game 4-3. It was replayed at Goodison Park. I went. It was at Goodison Park, not City Ground, Goodison Park. I went as a little kid. 1-1. They replayed again at Goodison Park, and then we lost. And we were second division side, and they were a big. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, can you imagine now? Imagine now.
So was that a yeah? So is that a yes or a no? You can't be forgiven.
Yeah, no, that was. Well, I look at it like this, right? When I see all the Newcastle fans now, I think, well, come on, Ant. None of them were there then, or 3 of them were there then. You can't blame them for running on the pitch, So time to forgive, but never forget.
You know what, Wolverine? Cinderella, she couldn't stay out past midnight. I think Ant, when he goes over 2 hours 15 minutes, he can't.
Yeah,
he
I
can't
was just
not
looking
rant.
at the clock.
That was
We
his
need
rant.
to, we need to get him off.
The other one I wanted. Somebody mentioned Nicola Jurkan. Yeah, I can remember him. He actually came off because his hands were cold. Croatian defender came off because his hands were cold.
Croatian.
And then one more. Joe Baker cried my eyes out when he left. Peter Grummett, fabulous goalkeeper. That's it. I'm done.
All right. 2 more questions. Yes, no answers. Estra saying, could Choupo-Moting be a good signing? United wanted him, I believe. Round the house is Ez.
Yes.
Well, on loan or permanent?
I don't know. Either.
Not getting him for permanent. Chelsea just bought him for like 40 million or something. 35 million.
Nathan Cuckoo. Are you talking about Cuckoo?
No, I'm talking about no,
Chelsea paid 40 million for him. No, the guy's at Bayern. He's been at Barca.
Sorry, forget. I'm thinking of this other guy.
He was at Stoke at one stage, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Southampton.
Yeah. Ez,
Sorry,
you're saying yes.
Wrong player.
Saying yes. Yeah, loan or permanent. I'll take him.
Okay, Dino.
I don't know enough about him, to be honest, to comment. So
okay,
that's not a yes/no answer, mate. So, okay,
pass.
pass.
One word answer.
Simon, have you figured out which player we're talking about?
Yeah. What position is he? Is he a Cameroon guy?
Striker
He's
in the very least.
as well.
Yeah, he went from Southampton to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Then he went. Yeah, and he didn't get a game.
No, but he scored.
No, it was Stoke, wasn't it?
It was Stoke. It wasn't Southampton.
Yeah,
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. They wear stripes, don't they? Same thing.
It's just.
I think Dino's right. It's past your bedtime. Yeah.
Nobody club wears red stripes. Yes,
for me,
you're right, Spacebar. We probably would have lost to Liverpool, but not 3-0 like you lot. Anyway, carry on.
Even Sharpie's giving up. Look, he's going to bed.
I don't play with it. All right. For me, he's a definite no. All right. Final question from Simon F. Non-Forest, what do your partners think of each of your YouTube endeavors? I don't know. I haven't seen her for a while. I've been locked in this room, but yeah, they're patient. They're very patient with us. So please give us a like so we can pass it on to them. Say at least the video's got likes. Yeah, but they're patient and sometimes understanding, sometimes not. Depends how long we end up on here. And speaking of which, we will wrap.
It depends when we let them out of the coal shed, doesn't it?
We're going way over. We're going to wrap up, guys. I'm so sorry for keeping you even longer than we normally keep you. I thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Look out for the video tomorrow. We're going to have my best 11 of my lifetime, which only 21 years. So keep an eye out for that. We've then got a few more shows coming up this week. We got the Blackburn watch along. We'll do player ratings on that. There's loads coming on. So keep an eye out. There's so much coming up, especially this week. I'm off work. So there's going to be a lot of Forest stuff coming on. I want to thank all the panel members. Ez, you want to say your goodbyes? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, the usual. You got the last chance to get your any orders in before Christmas, guys. So yeah, if you fancy any fragrance samples to pop in your stockings or to share with the family, got an offer on that moment. So if you order 3 samples, you get 20% off your total order, and it's free delivery on everything. Get your orders in as soon as possible, and I can try and get them to you before Christmas. So yeah, thank you. The links there on my it's thank you guys.
Fantastic. Thank you. Dino, I want to say what a great debut you've made on the Forest Forum. Thank you so much for coming on. Anything you want to close with? Any directions you want to point the lovely faithful family towards?
No, just always like Wolverine's videos. Likes go a long way to the algorithm. And please support Ez and Joe's channel as well.
Forest Fan Hub. Omai's going to get it up in there in a second. He's put the Grumpy Old Reds. It's actually on that link. So if you click on that link, it's there as well, which is fantastic. Simon.
Thanks for having me on. Thank you.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Simon, any closing remarks or words that you want to get across? We know you're hooked up with Match of the Day now. So can we hope to see you in the Old Trafford stand celebrating with MG Dub?
I had a ticket, but unfortunately my girlfriend's got some family engagement that she's dragging me to, so I can't make it to that game. Ooh. It might be a good thing. It might be 5-0. Saves me the trip up there, doesn't it? So yeah, it's a bit annoyed about that. But with that sort of stuff, it's easier just to go with what she says, honestly. Like, than to fight it. because it wouldn't have ended well.
We're gonna beat him. Don't worry, Space, but we will. I'm looking forward to Wolverines round. Go on.
Yeah, no, just looking forward to obviously watching Forest again. You know, now that the World Cup's finished.
I can't wait.
Yeah, just can't wait.
I didn't care about
it'll be
Blackburn when they
emotional
got
roller coaster. Huh?
Yeah, I didn't care when Blackburn got Drew when it was still part of the season. Now I'm like, yeah, I kind of looking forward to watching it.
Simon, I think home wise after your ticket. He says, "Have you sold the ticket?"
I'll already give it to my mate. So.
Too late. Cool. But what a great debut from Simon and from Dino tonight. So thank you both for coming on, and we've gone way over.
You've not asked me for final words yet.
I'm coming round to you. My God, he's
like best to last.
Mate.
Innit? And then you know what? If he's gonna act like that, then go away.
Yeah.
Final words, and go. Oh, he's swearing away. Go on. Final words.
No, I was just going to say I'd like to thank Dino and Simon. They have been absolutely fantastic, and I hope that they do the honour of coming on again because I've really enjoyed their input. They've been
thank you.
Really good.
Thanks
really
a lot,
good.
man.
It is past your bedtime, man. If you've come in. Thank you.
I love that they've ripped you out.
I'm off to a rave later. What are you on about?
Cool. All right, guys.
Second one of the week as well.
Guys in the audience, thank you so much for staying up with us. We will see you tomorrow. Until then, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and come on, you Reds.
Come on, you Reds.
Come on, you Reds.